Good morning, everyone. If anyone's here, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday morning. I was just in Baker's catching up on Kelsey Fitzsimmons, whatever I didn't see yesterday. That hearing made me want to crawl through my screen. It is disgusting that Justin, her ex, her baby's daddy, has not been arrested and in jail himself, because that's where he belongs. The fact that he forcefully entered that home in and of itself is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I just wanted to say my piece on that because it is very disturbing. I feel so horrible for the people that live in Massachusetts all the time. This stuff that just keeps happening. It's insane. Anyway, we're going to go back to 2024. We have Sgt Michael Lank, and I'm interested in watching his, well, I've been interested in the whole trial, obviously, but I know some of these testimonies have been pretty much meaningless. But I'm particularly interested in his testimony right now because of the fact that there's this theory floating out there about the phone and that. So I'd like to evaluate how I feel about him on the stand and how he answers questions. So let's go.
Please state your name and spell your last name.
Michael Lank, L-A-N-K.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a lieutenant with the Canton Police.
And how long in total have you been a member of the Canton Police?
Over 24 years.
And how long have you held the rank of lieutenant with Canton Police?
It'll be 2 years in August.
Now, prior to, well, let me ask you first, with reference to your responsibilities as a lieutenant, if you could explain to the jury just in general terms, what are your duties and responsibilities as a lieutenant?
I oversee the gun licensing and patrol.
And prior to working as a lieutenant, what was your role with the Canton Police before that?
I was a detective sergeant.
And how long were you a detective sergeant?
From September of 21 until August of 22.
And during that time frame as a detective sergeant, what were your duties and responsibilities with regard to the Canton Police at that point?
To oversee the detective bureau, ensure that all reports were issued to respective detectives and completed.
Now, you're also familiar with the role within the Canton Police of a sort of shift sergeant, is that correct?
Yes.
And if you could explain to the jury sort of what are the differences between what a shift sergeant does and what a detective sergeant does?
Shift sergeant's primary responsibility is to run the daily shift, give out sectors to each of the cars, and dispatch cruisers to appropriate areas, so forth.
And if I could turn your attention to the morning of January 29th, 2022. At some point after 6 a.m., did you receive a call in regard to a dispatch that your department had received?
Yes.
And who, if anyone, called you around that time?
Sergeant Sean Good.
Do you know approximately what time Sergeant Good called you?
I believe it was 6:08.
And with reference to that call, the initial call from Sergeant Good, what, if any, information did he relay to you at that time?
Sergeant Good stated that there was a gentleman found in the snow at 34 Fairview Road, and he was in very grave condition. And he brought it to my attention that he was also a Boston police officer.
And subsequent to that, through the course of your investigative work on this case, did you learn who that unresponsive male was?
Yes.
And who did you learn?
John O'Keefe.
And upon receiving that call, where did you go?
I went to 34 Fairview Road.
And if you know about what time would you estimate that you arrived in the area of 34 Fairview Road?
I live fairly close, so I was on scene by, I believe it was 6:24, 6:25.
And upon your arrival, who, if anyone else, from your department was there prior to you?
Officer Sarif, Officer Mullaney, and Sergeant Good.
And when you arrived, beyond sort of the other officers from your department, what, if any, other activity or what, if any, other persons did you observe on scene?
When I arrived, I observed that the ambulance was still there. There was multiple EMTs, and I observed some witnesses also.
And with respect to the ambulance, it's your understanding Mr. O'Keefe was in that ambulance?
Yes,
Did you ever see Mr. O'Keefe on that one?
I did not.
And at some point, the other officers who preceded your arrival, did they direct you to where Mr. O'Keefe was found when they first arrived?
They did.
And where was that sort of in relation to the property, if you recall?
If you're looking at 34 Fairview Road, it was on the left side of the property, about 8 feet from the road.
And in that sort of general area, what, if any, sort of landmarks or other sort of items in that area of the front yard did you observe?
I observed a flagpole. There was a fire hydrant and some brush area over there.
And upon your arrival on scene, who was the first person that you spoke to?
Sergeant Sean Good.
And you had some conversation with him, is that correct?
That's correct.
And then following talking to Sergeant Good, who, if anyone else, did you speak to on scene?
I spoke to Jennifer McCabe.
And where was it in relation to the scene that you first spoke to Jennifer McCabe?
I believe I spoke to Jennifer McCabe right in front of Mark Cruiser 683, which was assigned to Officer Sarif.
And then about how long a conversation was that initially with Ms. McCabe?
I would say probably 8 or 9 minutes.
And in addition to Ms. McCabe, what, if any, other sort of civilians did you observe in that area around that time?
I observed Kerry Roberts, and I don't recall seeing anybody else at the scene while I was focused on Ms. McCabe.
Now, with respect to Jennifer McCabe, I'll strike that. So after you spoke with Ms. McCabe for 8 or 9 minutes, then who, if anyone else, did you speak to at that time?
So after I spoke with Ms. McCabe, I believe I was able to then contact the CPAC unit.
And what is the CPAC unit?
CPAC unit is the investigative division for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office.
Why did you contact them?
Because I was made aware at some point that it did not appear that Mr. O'Keefe was going to survive, and I wanted them to be aware of the situation.
And did they respond at that time?
No.
Now, with reference to, is that sort of a typical protocol, or what, if any, sort of typical protocol would you have responding to a scene of this nature?
Yes, any sort of scene where it appears that the person is not going to survive, we would contact State Police CPAC unit.
And why is that?
Because they investigate all deaths.
So they have jurisdiction over all unattended deaths, is that correct?
That's correct.
As well as homicides, things of that nature.
Correct.
Now, once do you recall who, if anyone, you spoke to on that first call or notification to CPAC?
It would have been just the dispatch center on the first call.
And what, if any, subsequent calls did you have with regard to CPAC while you were on scene that morning?
I got a return call from Trooper Michael Proctor.
And from your conversation with Trooper Proctor, what was your understanding as far as their response to the scene at that time?
So at that point in time, Trooper Proctor informed me that they would not be responding.
Good morning, Annie. Thanks for coming by.
I don't know what that noise is, but if I could just ask you to repeat your last response, because frankly, I didn't.
Yes.
Just started.
In speaking to Trooper Proctor, he advised me at that point that they would not be responding.
And did he inform you as to why not at that time?
Objection.
Christine.
How's your
Now, when
Sunday
you arrived
going
on
so
scene,
far,
what
Amy?
did you know as far as the weather conditions?
The weather conditions were extremely poor. There were high winds, heavy snow.
Hold on, I'm going to pause. Lanky poo. Good morning, Malin. I thought you'd stay in Is Baker done? Oh, you're working on your remodeling, I'm assuming. Yeah. I didn't know if how long Baker would be streaming for, because it was in there until I had to get ready. Oh, you're getting ready for work, Annie? Ah. Well, hopefully we'll keep you company while you do that, and hopefully you won't have to work too hard today. Baker isn't done yet. I don't know what happened with that. I saw somebody write in Baker's chat or in Danny's chat last night about Baker not streaming at night anymore, and that's all I heard about it. I don't know what's going on there, and obviously didn't want to talk about it. I hope he's okay. You can listen to him later. Aw, thanks, Malin. I appreciate you joining me. Yeah, I'm assuming it has to do with the Hood Boogers streaming shit. Did they say shit about him? You don't have to give me any details if you know Malin, but just wondering if that's what it's about. I worry about him. He's so amazing. He doesn't deserve this shit. Don't know anything either. Gotcha. Oops. What happened to my screen? Hold on a second. There we go. That was weird. Yeah. Because that's not like him, you know? He takes this stuff in stride like no big deal and then wipes it off. So, but it's got to bother him at some, a little bit just because it's nonstop. Those guys just don't quit. It's getting old. Why does my screen keep disappearing? Hold on a second. Can you guys see the YouTube screen on? Because I can't see it. There. Okay, it never disappeared for you guys. That's so weird. Why was it disappearing for me? It kept disappearing. Huh. All right. Well, we're back to Lank. Let's go.
And freezing temperatures.
Thank you guys for letting me know. Appreciate it. I don't know why. See, it's disappearing again. So as long as it's on the screen for you guys, we're good. But it keeps disappearing on my StreamYard screen, which shows what should be showing on YouTube.
That's correct.
And
That's
when
so
was it that
weird.
the ambulance left in relation to when you arrived?
Huh.
Very, very shortly after I
long as you
arrived,
guys
I would say
see it, we're
within
good.
5 minutes.
Now, as far as injuries to Mr. O'Keefe, who, if anyone, relayed any information in regard to that?
Sergeant Good advised me that
Objection. Sustained.
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it, you guys?
Now, as far as
Look, it just appeared
following
again.
your
It keeps.
conversation with Ms. McCabe,
I
what was
just
sort
see
of the
my
next
white
steps?
and purple background, and then my YouTube.
after I spoke to Miss McCabe, I advised her that we were going to need to speak with the homeowners. She said that they were probably sleeping. I advised her that we were going to need to speak with them. And that's when I placed the call to the CPAC unit.
And prior to that, when you were on scene, had you seen anyone come in or go out?
Oh, it's every time I put, wait, hold on.
No.
It's every time I put one of your comments on the screen, it disappears for me. And that's weird because it never did that before. How strange is that? I wonder if I clicked something or did something weird. I don't know. Now that I have the paid version of StreamYard, I have to navigate it quite a bit. So as long as you guys see it, we're good. Let's continue. All right. Sorry about that.
And
Okay.
As far as sort of the other houses on the street, what, if any, activity did you observe with reference to any residents of those homes coming in or going out of their homes?
I did not observe anybody come in or out of their home.
Following your initial call to see back in conversation with Trooper Proctor, what is it that you did next?
Once that call was complete, Sergeant Good and I observed that there was now a light on in the house of 34 Fairview, and we made the decision to then go in and speak with the homeowners.
See, I'm confused again because I know we talked about this yesterday, but here's another one. They're saying they observed a light that came on, and that's when they decided to go in. But didn't you guys confirm that I was correct that Jen McCabe testified that she had to go in and wake them up? So here's two different cops contradicting Jen McCabe's story, which is blatant, outright lies. I thought so, Annie. What the hell? I'm trying to understand why these cops would lie about a light going on. And in my opinion, I don't see that as the lie. I see I always thought Jen McCabe was lying anyway, because who doesn't storm in the bedroom like, get up, so-and-so's, out on the lawn. I mean, I'd be screaming like crazy. I wouldn't be going in there. I wouldn't care if I startled them awake or not. So I never truly believed her testimony anyways. But now it's like she didn't even go in that bedroom. Yeah. So I know that's what Jen testified to. Now her sister, what's her face? Why can't I think of her sister's name now? I wasn't even thinking about her testimony, but I do remember bits and pieces that I've seen. And I do remember, because doesn't Brian Albert, Julie, thank you. So doesn't, wait a minute. Because don't they both, Julie and her husband, they both testify that they wake up in this fog, like, what's going on? Why are you in the bedroom? What are you doing here? What's going on? And the sister, Julie, didn't she say something to the effect of, I thought something was wrong with one of my kids? Like, if I'm remembering correctly. That's what I think that too. I'm pretty sure. Nicole. Okay, that's why I get to who lives at the house. I always do that. It's Nicole. Nicole. I always get them confused. Who actually lives at 34 Fairview when I start talking about it. There's so many freaking players in this freaking mess. But Nicole Albert, Julie McCabe. I always get, those are the two I get mixed up for some reason. By looking at them, I always think one is the other. But yes, Nicole Albert. Didn't they testify? And I'm assuming that I'm remembering correctly, because Annie, you think that as well, that they testified to waking up to Jen being in their room, not knowing what was going on. And Nicole testified to the fact that she was like, what's wrong? What? She thought right away something was wrong with her kid, making sure something wasn't wrong with one of the kids. I am definitely interested in listening to their testimony again now. Jen said she woke them up quietly. That's what I thought, Malin. Yeah. Because she said something to the effect like, I didn't want to startle them awake. Like, who gives a shit if you startle them awake after what you just observed and what's going on outside? Are you kidding me? But if these cops are saying, oh, we observed a light go on, so that's why we decided to go in. Why the hell did Jen have to go in and wake anybody up? Wow. They fucked that one up.
And how was it that you sort of proceeded up to the home?
I forgot to speed
believe
it up a little.
I don't
So it
recall if we
doesn't
used I believe we used the driveway, but I'm not
Already get
100%
through.
sure.
Hold on one second.
And you came into the home, recall which door that you used to enter the home?
The main door, the front door.
When you entered into the main door, what?
If it gets too fast, let me know.
As far as what was before you from a layout perspective.
There was a
Yeah.
staircase right in front of us,
She was
and to the
concerned
right,
about
it entered
spilling
into
that,
like what appeared to be like a dining area.
And who, if anyone, did you speak with?
Oh,
inside
you're
the
good,
home?
Maylin.
Brian
Thank you
Albert
for coming
and
by.
Nicole Albert.
And
And-
if we're still here when you get back, come step in. And I'm going live tonight. I'm doing my first psychology stream tonight on the Stanley Milgram experiment. So if you can make it, I'll see you then too. But have fun shopping again. That's 2 days in a row. Definitely jealous you got to go do that much shopping. I don't get to do much shopping these time. I'm too busy. Not to mention I don't have the extra money right now. But that's okay. I'm more of the older I get, the more of a homebody I am. I'm good with it.
And what, if any, relationship to the home did you determine based on your conversation with them?
They were the homeowners.
Now, Brian Albert, is that someone that you knew prior to January 29, 2022?
Yes,
How did you know?
I knew him as the oldest of the Albert.
What the heck? This whole screen disappearing is freaking me out. Sorry, guys.
And upon your arrival, who, if anyone else from your department was there prior to you?
Officer Sarif, Officer Mullaney, and Sergeant Good.
And when you arrived, beyond sort of the other officers from your department, what, if any, other activity or what, if any, other persons did you observe on scene?
When I arrived, I observed that the ambulance was still there. There were multiple EMTs, and I observed some witnesses also.
And with respect to the ambulance, to your understanding, Mr. O'Keefe was in that ambulance?
Yes,
Did you ever see Mr. O'Keefe on that one?
I did not.
And at some point, the other officers who preceded your arrival, did they direct you to where Mr. O'Keefe was found when they first arrived?
They did.
And where was that sort of in relation to the property, as you recall?
If you're looking at 34 Fairview Road, it was on the left side of the property, about 8 feet from the road.
And in that sort of general area, what, if any, sort of landmarks or other sort of items in that area of the front yard did you observe?
I observed a flagpole. There was a fire hydrant and some brush area over there.
And upon your arrival on scene, who was the first person that you spoke to?
Sergeant Sean Good.
And you had some conversation with him, is that correct?
That's correct.
And then following talking to Sergeant Good, who, if anyone else, did speak to on scene?
I spoke to Jennifer McCabe.
And where was it in relation to the scene that you first spoke to Jennifer McCabe?
I believe I spoke to Jennifer McCabe right in front of Mark Cruiser 683, which was assigned to Officer Sarif.
And then about how long a conversation was that initially with Ms. McCabe?
I would say probably 8 or 9 minutes.
And in addition to Ms. McCabe, what, if any, other sort of civilians did you observe in that area around that time?
I observed Kerry Roberts, and I don't recall seeing anybody else at the scene while I was focused on
Thrift shopping
Ms.
today?
McCabe.
That's awesome, Maylin.
Now, with respect to Jennifer McCabe, that's right. So
I used to go to a lot of garage sales when my son was little.
With anyone else did you speak to at that time?
Those were
So,
fun in the summertime.
After I spoke with Ms. McCabe, I believe I was able to then contact the CPAC unit.
And what is the CPAC unit?
CPAC unit is the investigative division for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office.
Why did you contact them?
Because I was made aware at some point that it did not appear that Mr. O'Keefe was going to survive, and I wanted them to be aware of the situation.
And did they respond at that time?
No.
Now, with reference to, is that sort of a typical protocol, or what if any sort of typical protocol would you have responding to a scene of this nature?
Yes, any sort of scene where it appears that the person is not going to survive, we would contact State Police CPAC unit
And why is that?
because they investigate all deaths.
So they have jurisdiction over all unattended deaths, is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, homicides, things of that nature.
Correct.
Now, once you, do you recall with anyone you spoke to on that first call and notification to CPAC?
It would have been just the dispatch center on the first call.
And what, if any, subsequent calls did you have with regard to CPAC while you were on scene that morning?
I got a return call from Trooper Michael Proctor.
And from your conversation with Trooper Proctor, what was your understanding as far as their response to the scene at that time?
So at that point in time, Trooper Proctor informed me that they would not be responding.
Yeah. I don't know what that noise is, but if I could just ask you to repeat your last response, because frankly, I didn't.
Yes. In speaking to Trooper Proctor, he advised me at that point that they would not be responding.
And did he inform you as to why not at that time?
Objection. Sustained.
Now, when you arrived on scene, what, if anything, did you note as far as the weather conditions?
The weather conditions were extremely poor. There were high winds, heavy snow, and freezing temperatures.
Now, you mentioned when you first arrived on scene, Mr. O'Keefe is in the back of that ambulance, is that correct?
That's correct.
And when was it that the ambulance left in relation to when you arrived?
Very, very shortly after I arrived, I would say within 5 minutes.
Now, as far as injuries to Mr. O'Keefe, who, if anyone, relayed any information in regard to that?
Sergeant Good advised me that
Objection. Sustained.
Now, as far as following your conversation with Ms. McCabe, what was sort of the next steps that you took on scene?
after I spoke to Ms. McCabe, I advised her that we were going to need to speak with the homeowners. She said that they were probably sleeping. I advised her that we were going to need to speak with them.
Your Myers
and that's when
has
I
a food
placed the
court? That's cool. Our Myers doesn't have a food. My Myers, anyways, not actually. No Myers by me has a food court. They have like, you know, UPS store and one of the frozen Coke machines and like an eyeglass store. But yeah, no food court. We used to have a mall up here that had a cool food court, but the malls are dying out. We only have one basic mall in this whole the side of Southeast Michigan, really, that's left. The mall, going to the mall and hanging out was like the thing to do when I was a teenager.
The call to the CPAC unit.
And prior to that, when you were on scene, had you seen anyone come in or go out of the residence at 34 Fairview Road?
No.
And as far as sort of the other houses on the street, what, if any, activity did you observe with reference to any residents of those homes coming in or going out of their homes?
I did not observe anybody come in or out of their home.
Following your initial call to CPAC and conversation with Proctor, what is it that you did next?
Once that call was complete, Sergeant Good and I observed that there was now a light on in the house of 34 Fairview, and we made the decision to then go in and speak with the homeowners.
And how was it that you sort of proceeded up to the home?
I believe, I don't recall if we used I believe we used the driveway, but I'm not 100% sure.
And you came into the home, recall which door that you used to enter the home?
The main door of the
We have
front
a
door.
Starbucks and Little Caesars. Oh, that's cool. Like our Targets up here have Starbucks in them, all of them. So they probably have like a monopoly with having Starbucks inside. And then like Walmart, our Walmarts have a Subway. Yeah, and that's about it. Because we have Kroger up here and Aldi's, but those are smaller little grocery stores. Then we have our little higher end grocery store, which is Bush's, but it's like a Kroger, just a little bit higher end, I guess you would call it. But basically, like the bigger ones were just Meijer and Walmart. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure none of our Meijers around here have any sort of food court like that, or any sort of place to eat. Not that I can think of. Yeah, I like Kroger too. That's where I do most of my shopping. I do Meijer and Kroger, depending. They're both pretty close to me, thankfully. You don't have a Target though? That sucks. I love Target. I live right by a freeway, like an on-ramp to the freeway, like less than a mile away. And the two main roads down there, one of them specifically is like just a road of nothing but stores and restaurants for like 3 miles. So I'm close to almost anything I need to get to, which is pretty awesome.
Front door.
When you entered in through the main door, what did you please describe to the jury sort of what you observed as far as what was before you from a layout perspective?
There was a staircase right in front of us, and to the right, it entered into like what appeared to be like a dining area.
And who, if anyone, did you speak with inside the home that morning?
Brian Albert and Nicole Albert.
And what, if any, relationship to the home did you determine based on your conversation with them?
They were the homeowners.
Now, Brian Albert, is that someone that you knew prior to January 29, 2022?
Yes.
How did you know?
I knew him as the oldest of the Albert brothers.
And did you know some of the other Albert brothers?
Yes.
And let me ask you this, Sergeant. Where did you grow up?
Canton.
Sorry to hear that, Malin.
We moved here. Excuse me. We moved to Canton when I was 5 years old.
So essentially, since you were 5 years old, you live in the town, correct?
Yes.
You work in the town, correct?
Yes.
Do you have children?
I do.
Any of them play sports?
They do.
Objection.
I'm sustained.
Move to strike.
Second.
What, if any, other sort of, other than living and working in the town, what, if anything else, is it that you do around the town?
I coach youth sports.
And how long have you done that for?
I would say at least 9 or 10 years.
And how would you describe your relationship with Brian Albert prior to that January 29, 2022?
Civil?
Do you friends? Do you socialize?
No.
Now, in addition to Brian Albert and Nicole Albert, who, if anyone else, where did you speak to them within the home?
Just inside the door by the staircase.
And how would you describe their demeanor when you were speaking to them?
They appeared, especially Mr. Albert, appeared disheveled, looked like he had just woken up.
And about how long the conversation was it between Brian Albert and Nicole Albert that initial time?
I'd say 15, 20 minutes.
And beyond that, who, if anyone else, did you see within the home besides yourself, Sergeant Goods, and Mr. and Mrs. Albert?
Jennifer McCabe.
No one else at that time?
No.
Are you familiar with a gentleman named Brian Hayes?
I am.
And how are you familiar with him?
I met Brian when he was stationed at our police station. I don't know how many years ago it was, but he was assigned to our building years ago. That's how I met him.
And assigned in what capacity? What I mean by that, what did you do?
Brian is a ATF agent.
And did you see Mr. Higgins at any point in time during the time that you were at Fairview Road that morning?
Not on my initial response.
So sometime after, is that correct?
Yes.
And when about was that?
That would have been shortly after 9 a.m.
And we'll get to that in a moment. But after your conversation with Brian Albert and Nicole Albert inside the house, what is it that you did then?
Could you repeat that, please?
After talking to the homeowners, what was your next step on scene that day? What did you do next?
After speaking with the family, came out by that point. Lieutenant Gallagher was on scene and spoke with Lieutenant Gallagher as to what we were going to do next as far as the scene itself.
And to that end, what things did you or the other officers do with regard to sort of security of the scene at that time?
So we had put up some crime scene tape to try to protect the scene, but it was a futile effort because of the wind. But there were marked patrol cars in front of the yard at all times, so the scene was fairly secure at all times.
And then, with relation to the scene or the area that you were directed, or your attention was directed to as to where Mr. O'Keefe had been found, what, if anything, did you do with reference to that area?
I stood by and observed while Lieutenant Gallagher used a leaf blower to try to clear the top layers of snow off of the scene.
And at some point in time, that particular process, was that memorialized in any way?
Yes.
And how was it done?
In my report.
I'm sorry, beyond that, was there any sort of photos or video that were taken of that leaf blower process?
Yes. Sergeant Good was able to take video while Lieutenant Gallagher used a leaf blower.
You've seen that video, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's contained in that video, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of sort of what happened on scene that morning?
Yes.
Now, in addition to, well, let me ask you this, as far as the leaf blower was concerned, what was sort of the purpose of that? What was the thinking behind that?
The purpose behind the leaf blower was to just take the top layers of snow off to reveal what was underneath and try to preserve any potential evidence.
And upon employing that, what, if anything, did you then observe in that?
Sorry,
area of
guys, I have to go back for a second because I've been thinking, I was trying to find out what time Karen texted Higgins that text that says John's dead. And I just looked it up. She texted him at 11:54 a.m. And Lank said he talked to Higgins at 9 o'clock. I want to see if I heard that right. Hold on. So that's why I always wondered is if he knew or not when she texted him. And if this is the case, Lank talked to him at 9, then yes, Higgins already knew.
The scene itself.
And to that end, what, if anything, did you or the other officers do with regard to sort of security of the scene at that time?
So we had put up some crime scene tape to try to protect the scene, but it was a futile effort because of the wind. But there were marked patrol cars in front of the yard at all times, so the scene was fairly secure at all times.
And then, with relation to the scene or the area that you were directed, or your attention was directed to as to where Mr. O'Keefe had been found, what, if anything, did you do with reference to that area?
I stood by and observed while Lieutenant Gallagher used a leaf blower to try to clear the top layers of snow off of the scene.
And at some point in time, well, that particular process, was that memorialized in any way?
Yes.
And how was it done so far?
In my report.
I'm sorry, beyond that, was there any sort of photos or video that were taken of that leaf blower process?
Yes. Sergeant Good was able to take video while Lieutenant Gallagher used a leaf blower.
You've seen that video, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's contained in that video, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of sort of what happened on scene at that point?
Yes.
Now, in addition to, well, let me ask you this, as far as the leaf blower was concerned, what was sort of the purpose of that, or what was the thinking behind that?
The purpose behind the leaf blower was to just take the top layers of snow off to reveal what was underneath and try to preserve any potential evidence.
And upon employing that, what, if anything, did you then observe in that area of the front lawn?
Ultimately, we were able to see what appeared to be blood drops in the snow, as well as a drinking glass, cocktail glass.
Now, in addition to the video that was taken with regard to the leaf blowing process, or the use of the leaf blower, were the photos that were taken of the scene as well?
Yes.
And Ms. Cameron, if I could have exhibit number 27.
I don't think I ever went.
Sergeant Lank, what's up on the screen that's been previously marked as exhibit 27? Do you recognize that?
Hold on.
I do.
Any of them play sports?
They do.
Objection. Sustained.
Move to strike.
Strike that.
What, if any, other sort of, other than living and working in the town, what, if anything else is it that you do around the town?
I coach youth sports.
And have you done, how long have you done that for?
I would say at least 9 or 10 years.
And how would you describe your relationship with Brian Albert prior to that January 29, 2022?
Civil.
Do you friends? Do you socialize?
No.
Now, in addition to Brian Albert and Nicole Albert, who, if anyone else, where did you speak to them within the home?
Just inside the door by
I
the
also
staircase.
have to say, I don't know about
how would you
anybody else, but when he asks him, how is your relationship with Brian Albert? And he says, civil. That's not a term you use unless it's with someone that you don't like or had confrontations with, but you remain civil. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if it's someone that you just don't hang out with, but don't have any beef with either, civil isn't the word I would use. That's just my opinion.
Describe their demeanor when you were speaking to them.
They appeared, especially Mr. Albert, appeared disheveled, looked like he had just woken up.
And about how
Okay,
long
it's
the
not just
conversation was
me,
this,
Malin.
between,
Good.
Brian
Thank
Albert
you. It
and
is
Nicole Albert,
weird.
that initial time?
It seemed a weird way to say that, like our relationship is civil. Like, that's only the term I use when it's someone that I've had beef with, or, like you've had confrontations with, or you just don't like, but you remain civil for the purpose of your job or school or community, whatever.
I'd say 15, 20 minutes.
And beyond that, who, if anyone else, did you see within the home besides yourself, Sergeant Goods, and Mr. and Mrs. Albert?
Jennifer McCabe.
No one else at that time?
No.
Are you familiar with a gentleman named Brian Hayes?
I am.
And how are you familiar with him?
I met Brian when he was stationed at our police station. I don't know how many years ago it was, but he was assigned to our building years ago. That's how I met him.
And assigned in what capacity? What I mean by that, what did you do?
Brian is a ATF agent.
And did you see Mr. Higgins at any point in time during the time that you were at Fairview Road that morning?
Not on my initial response.
So sometime after, is that correct?
Yes.
And when about was that?
That would have been shortly after 9 a.m.
See, 9 a.m.
And we'll get to that in a moment. But
Okay.
after
I got to hear what he says more about that, because Lally says, I'll get to that in a moment, because that was my big question mark yesterday or the other day whenever we were talking about those texts, and Higgins not responding to Karen's last text really had me wondering. And I was going back and forth because it's like, well, if he knew, but then again, what if he didn't know? But now I know he already knew when she sent that text, and he still didn't respond. Like, I know, I heard, I'm so sorry, or I know that whatever. Like, I think it boggles my mind more that he knew when he got that text from her and didn't respond. You think you bought a glow-in-the-dark toilet seat? I didn't even know they sold glow-in-the-dark toilet seats. All that shopping means a ton of work for you. Gotcha. Still fun, though. All right, let's get back to this. I really want to hear what he has to say. It's one of the things that has really, I always go back to that text. It drives me crazy. But let's see what he has to say. I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to go heat up some lunch. I made some homemade macaroni and cheese last night. So I'm going to go heat some up, and I'll be right back.
After your conversation with Brian Albert and Nicole Albert inside the house, what is it that you did then?
Could you repeat that, please?
After talking to the homeowners, what was your next step on scene that day? What did you do next?
After speaking with the family, came out by that point. Lieutenant Gallagher was on scene and spoke with Lieutenant Gallagher as to what we were going to do next as far as the scene itself.
And to that end, what thing did you or the other officers do with regard to sort of security of the scene at that time? So
we had put up some crime scene tape to try to protect the scene, but it was a futile effort because of the wind. But there were marked patrol cars in front of the yard at all times, so the scene was fairly secure at all times.
And then, with relation to the scene or the area that you were directed, or your attention was directed to as to where Mr. O'Keefe had been found, what, if anything, did you do with reference to that area?
I stood by and observed while Lieutenant Gallagher used a leaf blower to try to clear the top layers of snow off of the scene.
And at some point in time, that particular process, was that memorialized in any way?
Yes.
And how was it done so far?
In my report.
I'm sorry, beyond that, was there any sort of photos or video that were taken of that leaf blower process?
Yes. Sergeant Good was able to take video while Lieutenant Gallagher used a leaf blower.
You've seen that video, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's contained in that video, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of sort of what happened on scene that morning?
Yes.
Now, in addition to, let me ask you this, as far as the leaf blower was concerned, what was sort of the purpose of that, or what was the thinking behind that?
The purpose behind the leaf blower was to just take the top layers of snow off to reveal what was underneath and try to preserve any potential evidence.
And upon deploying that, what, if anything, did you then observe in that area of the front lawn?
Ultimately, we were able to see what appeared to be blood drops in the snow, as well as a drinking glass, cocktail glass.
Now, in addition to the video that was taken with regard to the leaf blowing process, or the use of the leaf blower, were the photos that were taken of the scene as well?
Yes.
And please tell me if I could have exhibit number 27. Sergeant Lank, what's up on the screen that's been previously marked as exhibit 27? Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize it, please?
I recognize that to be the scene that we were working with the leaf blower.
May I approach the witness room?
Yes.
So I'm handing you a laser pointer, basically. Just press on that button.
Okay, thank you.
Lieutenant Lank, using that laser pointer, if you could draw the jury's attention to what, if anything, of significance you observed in this photograph in relation to what you saw on scene that day.
So it appeared to see blood drops here in the snow that had been revealed by wiping away the top layer, as well as the glass protruding from the snow.
Thanks. Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. Now, at any point in time when you were on scene, did you have any contact or interaction with a person named Karen?
I did not.
Did you see her on scene at all that day?
I don't recall seeing her. I believe she was there while I was there, but I never spoke to her.
Now, following your initial conversation inside the home of 34 Fairview with Brian Albert and Cole Albert, and speaking to Jennifer McCabe outside, who, if anyone else, did you speak with that arrived on scene that morning?
Matthew McCabe.
And when was it that Matthew McCabe arrived in relation to your arrival and when you spoke to the other people?
Matthew McCabe arrived just a couple of minutes after I had walked out of the house the first time.
And so when he arrived, where did you go?
Moments after he arrived, I went back into the house to speak with Mr. McCabe.
And about how long a conversation was it that you were in the house when you were speaking to Mr. McCabe?
I'm not sure. I'd say maybe 5 minutes.
And over the course of that morning, about how many times did you go into the residence at 34 Fairview Road?
3.
Anyone ever tell you that you couldn't go into the home or that stopped you at the doorway or anything like that?
No.
And with reference to inside the home, what any observations did you make of sort of
All right, I'm back.
shoveled or anything like that?
Everything appeared in order.
And just if you know, what if any relationship does Matthew McCabe have to Jennifer?
Matthew
Hold
McCabe
on,
is
I
Jennifer
wanna
McCabe's
see what
husband.
you guys saying. Okay. Malin, it makes me angry when I think about how he didn't respond to her. Yeah, she was reaching out and he slapped her in the face. See, that's how I was looking at it. Somebody brought up the other when we were talking about it that last time, like it was kind of her being a passive aggressive, like, but I think especially now having seen that she did flirt with Higgins that night at McCarthy's, I'm torn about that. But I see when you look at it that way, I agree with you, Malin. I totally do. It's bothered you too, Annie. Okay, at least I'm not the only one. It's one of the, I know it's just a small detail, but it's one that just has, it's one that I kept going back to. It just drove me, it still drives me nuts. Did I ask you guys if you saw Loophole Lawyer? I played it the other day, right? When they did catch her, basically flirting with him, pushing his arm in a flirtatious way, which was crazy to me that was never seen before. I agree, Annie. Yeah, I thought so, Malin. It's so crazy, isn't it? So some of the things that we have, like, or we feel about things kind of have to be reevaluated because of it.
Now, turning back to what was just up on the screen in Exhibit 27, with regard to those items that you observed in the yards in the front lawn that day, what, if anything, did you or the other officers do with respect to those items?
The drinking glass was secured into an evidence bag, and the blood drops were secured into 6 solo cups.
And why were they secured into 6 solo cups?
We did the best that we could with the situation, with the weather and deteriorating situation. Lieutenant Gallagher was able to attain the solo cups from Lieutenant Kelleher's house, which was diagonally across the street.
Now, with respect to the CPAC unit or the phone call that you made to the state police, beyond sort of the jurisdiction of them having over unintended deaths and things of that nature, what, if any, other assets that the state police have at their disposal with regard to crime scene that your department has found?
They have crime scene units that process crime scenes.
Now, with respect to those items, once they were secured, just in reference to the solo cups, beyond sort of just putting them into solo cups, what, if anything else, did you or the other officers do to secure those items specifically?
They were secured into a brown evidence bag.
And following them being secured, where did they go from there?
They were then, they were then placed into my truck at that point, my police truck that I was using that day, and ultimately transported back to the police station.
And transported back to the police station
by me.
And once you were back at the police station with those items, what, if anything, did you do with them at that time?
They were secured into temporary evidence in the refrigerated unit for the solo cups, and the glass was secured into temporary evidence.
And so when you say temporary evidence, why were they secured into temporary evidence?
They were secured into temporary evidence so that they could ultimately be turned over to the state police.
And as far as when you secure something into temporary evidence, just in general terms first, what is it that you do with that item to secure it or label it or anything else?
So it's assigned a property number, and we would print out a property label, and then that's assigned. It's assigned to the OF number, which is the report.
The OF stands for a report.
Yeah, it doesn't even have.
Each report that you generate has a specific number.
They didn't have property or
and then that number is associated with the
proper evidence logs either for that.
Now,
custody logs, as
with
far as
reference
I remember.
That evidence, whether it's temporary evidence or otherwise, what, if any, restrictions are there with regard to access to those items within your department?
So
I-
temporary evidence is accessible to all officers
And 2 officers from your department, correct?
from our department, yes.
It totally
And
makes me
Following
reevaluate
that,
that whole
are you
situation.
aware, or what, if anything, are you aware of what happened with those items after you secured them into temporary evidence?
I believe they were ultimately turned over to the state police.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
So I'm handing you up a box. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
Appears to be a box to secure evidence with a call number on it.
And is that a box that you've seen earlier today?
Yes.
And with reference to what's contained within the box, have you seen that this morning as well?
Yes.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask that the witness be allowed to take what's in the box out of the box.
Okay.
Sir, just for the record, you have some evidence gloves with you in court today, is that correct?
That's correct.
Sorry, sir, before you just go into that, just with reference to the bag that you have before you, what if any markings are on that that relate to sort of your case, your case number with the police?
So it is there's a case number assigned to us, 22-870F, and there is a property number 22-18PR, and it's listed as broken drinking glass.
Have
And
you seen the item contained within that bag earlier this morning as well?
yes,
And what you observed within that bag, is that the piece of the cocktail glass that you observed on the front yard area of 34 Fairview Road on January 29, 2022?
yes, it is.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask that the witness be allowed to take it out of the bag and display it to the jury. Thank you, sir. You can place it back in the bag. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Colonel Commonwealth, seek to introduce in the minutes. Now, Lieutenant Lank, once you were back at the police station, what, if any, call did you receive from anyone in regard to what if anyone called you once you were back at the station?
Jennifer McCabe called at 9 a.m.
And where did you go following that phone call with Jennifer McCabe?
Lieutenant Gallagher and I went back to 34 Fairview Road.
So this is now the third time that you've gone back and gone inside the
I
residence.
just saw,
34 Fairview Road, is that correct?
That's correct.
I always forget to get some of my streaming hours to play it on my phone as we're, as I'm doing a live. I just put it on. My logo isn't in the middle of my little box where it says Miss Scarlett. The heck, I can see now. I can see that on my StreamYard screen, and it's not on YouTube. I can't see my YouTube screen on StreamYard, and yet that is seen on YouTube. What the hell is going on? Right, Amy? I swear. Like, no big deal.
And who, if anyone, did you speak with
I can't believe my logo isn't showing up.
along with yourself and Lieutenant Gallagher once you returned there that morning?
Jennifer McCabe,
But how long a period of conversation was that second conversation that you had with Mr. McCabe?
between 5 and 10 minutes.
Hold on.
And then following that, where did you go from there?
Returned to the police station.
Now, if I could turn your attention to February 4th of 2022. You working on that day?
I was.
And in the same capacity that you had described earlier?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just playing around. Give me 1 second. This one's better anyway, but still, my logo. I don't understand why my logo is not there. It's going to drive me nuts. Oh, wow. Sorry, guys. I was just fooling around. Oh, a lot of people are having issues. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Then it's not just me. apparently YouTube and StreamYard have been it's like back and forth. One day it's YouTube and you can't put comments that people can see, and then StreamYard's acting up, and then the next day it's YouTube again. I was in Nurse Kim's chat this morning, and I didn't know if she did it, but only members could chat in her chat. And I'm like, since when did she make it members only chat? So I didn't know if that was a YouTube thing or she did that. Because this crap happens all the time.
And at some point, well, approximately 8:50 a.m. or so, who, if anyone, calls you on that?
Lieutenant Gallagher.
And what, if anything, or where did he direct you to go during the course of that conversation?
Lieutenant Gallagher directed me to go back to 34 Fairview Road and meet with Chief Berkowitz as he had possibly discovered more evidence.
And in the time between January 29th and February 4th, had you gone back to 34 Fairview Road at any point?
No.
Now, between that time of January 29th, 2022 and February 4th, 2022, what, if anything, occurred in regards to the weather in between those days?
So the weather had, the temperatures had increased and there was some rain.
And increased, if you know approximately how much?
I believe it made it up to the mid 40s.
So well above freezing, is that correct?
Correct.
And with regard to the snowfall that had come from the 28th and the 29th, what, if anything, just in general, had you, well, not in general, specifically to 34 Fairview Road, what, if anything, did you observe between the snow that you observed there on the 29th and the snow that you observed there on February 4th?
A lot of the snow had melted and a lot of the ground had been revealed.
And when you arrived at 34 Fairview Road on February 4th, what, if anything, did you observe and where did you observe?
Chief Berkowitz brought my attention to a piece of red glass that was about 6 to 8 feet off the into the yard.
Now, before we get to that, as far as when you responded, who, if anyone else from your department, responded along with you?
Detective Tim Taylor.
And the pieces of plastic that you observed, where were they in relation to where you had observed?
That was that day. I was in a couple people's chats, and I realized no one could see me, and then I saw this foreign language, and that's why I could see you, a couple of your comments, Annie, and they were all in a foreign language, and I was reading them. I thought you were being funny, and that's when I realized, I'm like, oh my God, this is a stupid StreamYard chat YouTube issue. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Yeah, that day was crazy. Well, especially when you're in the chat where people always respond to you, like especially when you say, hey, or good morning, what's up? And nobody responds to you. You're like, what the fuck? Is everybody ignoring me today? Are people mad at me today? What did I do? And then you're like, oh, they can't see me.
On January 29th.
The glass was in the vicinity of where Mr. O'Keefe had been discovered.
Now, with respect to that pieces of plastic that you observed, what, if anything, did you do to memorialize where they were?
I photographed the piece of plastic as it sat.
And did you or anyone in your presence touch, manipulate, or move those pieces of plastic in any way?
No.
And at some point after you arrived on scene, who, if anyone, did you contact in regard to securing those items? I
contacted the CPAC unit, and ultimately Trooper Buchanan arrived back at the scene.
And if you know about how much time elapsed between the time that you contacted CPAC and the time that Buchanan arrived?
I honestly don't recall.
And when Trooper Buchanan arrived on scene, what, if anything, did you observe him to do with those pieces of plastic that you directed his attention to?
Trooper Buchanan secured the item into a evidence bag.
May I approach, Ron?
Yes.
So I'm showing you two photographs. Ask you just briefly to look them over and look up when you're finished. Do you recognize those, sir?
I do.
What do you recognize in those photographs?
I recognize this to be the piece of plastic that Chief Berkowitz had observed on that morning.
Those are photographs that you took that morning as well, is that correct?
That's correct.
What's contained in those photographs, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed on February 4th, 2020?
Yes, it is.
I still regret looking up what that meant. I remember when I heard it for the first time, I was in Will's chat, and people were like, what's that? And everyone's like, don't look it up. Don't look it up. And of course, I was nosy as fuck, and I was like, no, I got to know what it means. And then I was like, yeah, wish I didn't look that up.
I'll call to introduce in a minute next to exhibit.
Okay.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have first of those photographs up on screen.
You
Lieutenant
did?
Lank, you recognize what's picked up on screen currently?
I didn't.
And,
I'm
this is sort of a
nosy.
Further out image of that. piece of
I
plastic
had
you're
to
talking about,
know.
is that correct?
Yes.
Using the laser pointer before you, if you could just draw the jury's attention to where in the photograph to observe that. Thanks. Ms. Gilman, the next photograph. And sir, do you again recognize what's up on screen?
Yes, it's a close-up picture of the piece of plastic.
Thanks. Anyway.
Okay, Mr. Jackson?
Thank you, Your Honor. May we approach briefly?
Sure.
All right, jurors, so you're about to hear evidence of an event that happened in 2002. This evidence can be considered by you insofar as it demonstrates or relates to the credibility of this witness and the thoroughness of the investigation into this case for which the defendant is currently on trial before you folks. You may use this evidence to the extent that you find it credible in deciding whether there was any bias or favoritism on the part of the police in their investigation in this case.
May I ask?
Mr. Jackson, yes.
Lieutenant Lank, I want to start by asking you about your relationship with certain members of the Albert family. Do you know any other members of the Albert family other than Brian Albert?
Yes.
Can you describe who those are?
Kevin Albert, who is a detective on our department, Chris Albert, and I know Tim Albert.
Are those three individuals brothers?
Yes.
Who's the eldest brother?
Brian.
How long have you known? I want to start first with Tim Albert. How long have you known Tim Albert?
I knew Tim Albert when he was a kid because he was friends with a younger brother of a friend of mine.
Starting at what age?
12.
So you've known-
He was 12. I was probably 16 or so.
okay. So the better part of your life, you've known Tim Albert.
Since about 16, I would say.
And what about Chris Albert?
Chris Albert, I've known since junior high,
Which would be about what age?
13, 14,
You grew up
12,
with Chris
12, 13. I was friendly with Chris from junior high through high school and into our 20s.
and friendly with Tim.
I wouldn't say I was friendly to say hello to Tim. I didn't associate with him. He was younger. He was Chris's younger brother.
But you also knew Chris's older brother, Brian.
Yes.
back in those days.
I knew who he was.
So you've known the three of them for basically your entire life.
No, I had met them. I had met Brian. I didn't know him other than just being Chris's older brother when we were younger kids.
Certainly with regard to Chris, you would consider him a close friend.
Consider who a close friend?
Chris. I'm
Yes.
using first names only because they're all
Sure, sure. Chris and I were pretty good friends when we were younger, yes.
I want to draw your attention to an incident in August of 2002. Do you remember an incident in 2002 occurring with that involved Chris Albert?
Yes.
In 2002, in August of 2002 specifically, you were off duty, correct?
Yes.
You had been drinking alcohol, correct?
Yes.
You were approached by Chris Albert out in the parking lot, is that right?
That's correct.
And Chris Albert told you some information about being in a fight, that he had been in a fight or an altercation of some sort, correct?
He told me he had been in an altercation earlier in the night and some threats had been made to him and his family.
And you got out of your car and discussed this with Mr. Albert, correct?
No.
You just talked to him while you were seated in your car?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did some other individuals approach that same area?
Yes.
Was there a fight that you believed was about to ensue?
Yes.
Did you get out of your car at that point?
I did.
Did you come to Chris's aid by, quote unquote, activating yourself as an officer?
I got out of my car and I approached the group and I pleaded with them to not fight tonight. I said, there's not going to be a fight tonight. There's 6 of you guys. He's here with his girlfriend. There's not going to be a fight tonight.
Did you come to Chris Albert's aid as best you could as a longtime friend of his?
I came to the aid of a citizen who was in fear and of need.
That citizen happened to be Chris Albert, whom you had known since you were 12 years old.
Correct.
Ultimately, a fight did break out, did it not?
Yes.
And you engaged in that fight.
Yes.
And again, you had been drinking alcohol at that point, correct?
Correct.
And you were off duty in August of 2002 during this fight.
Yes.
Just like you were off duty in 2022 when you were called by Sergeant Good to activate and come to the crime scene at 34 Fairview.
When Sergeant Good contacted me, I was not working. I was due to work at 7:45 that morning. When Sergeant Good contacted me and told me what was going on,
I'm sorry.
then I activated
have
myself
to
and
say
came to work
this
because I was the
because,
detective sergeant.
All that's going through my mind right now is why are these Canton cops, because Sergeant Michael Lank is a Canton cop, correct? So why are these Canton cops still there doing all this investigating when they were conflicted off the case? I am so confused by this. Like, it's no big thing. I mean, they called the CERT team or whatever for knowing that the state police investigates all deaths. So what the hell were they even doing? Gathering evidence incorrectly. And I mean, I get so mad at this shit. I get for a lot. I literally have a loss for words so many times because it's crazy.
And that's similar sort of activation, using that word in air quotes, it's similar sort of activation that you employed back in 2002 to assist Chris Albert.
No.
You did, in fact, call for someone to call the police and get some Canton officers over there, correct?
Excuse me. So in 2002?
In 2002.
Yes.
Okay. And I failed to ask you this, but in 2002, you were, in fact, a Canton police officer.
Yes.
At the time. After the other officers arrived, did you order the other officers to handcuff or somehow restrain one of the two brothers that were involved in this fight with Chris?
No.
Ultimately, did you see whether or not those officers handcuffed or otherwise restrained one of the brothers that was involved in this fight?
Yes.
And did you then engage physically in a fight with the other brother who was not restrained?
No. The struggle had already occurred.
All right. So let me make sure I get the timing right. You did, in fact, engage in a physical fight with one of the brothers, correct?
Upon being struck, yes.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Upon being struck, yes.
And then you struck him.
I watched every episode of The Shield. This reminds me of The Shield a little, at least. I never watched that show, Morgue. Is it good? I always look for shows to binge watch that are, obviously not on anymore. I do remember, I remember seeing it advertised, so I know what show you're talking about. I just never watched it. If it's worth going, watching, if it's on a streaming service, I can put that on my list. They were incompetent and didn't care. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So, there's one thing between being incompetent, just being stupid and making mistakes. There's another between doing that and blatantly, knowing the rules and knowing at that specific time you are breaking the rules. And not caring. Right, Amy? I know. It's and I think more than anything, even them doing that, what disgusts me even more than them doing that is sitting here in court, every single one of them, and testifying so what? No big deal. What's the problem? It's disgusting. 100%, Annie. It's really good and somewhat based on a real-life police corruption case in LA involving the Rampart unit. Oh, okay. I'll have to go see if it's on a streaming service. Right now I only have premium YouTube and Peacock. So I don't remember. Wasn't The Shield on? I want to say Fox, but actually I don't know. Do you know what station or channel it was on? Also, actually, you know what? I'm in Google right now. I Google everything. Let's see. The Shield. Oh, it's on Tubi, I mean. Hulu. And Disney Plus. Oh, FX. That's what it was on. Yeah. See, I was close. I said Fox. FX, Fox. Just minus an O. One of the main characters is the ghoul from Fallout, and it was FX. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. The ghoul. We know they knew how to do it right by the Walsh case. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So there's no excuse except the one I gave. They haven't come up with a better excuse yet. No, they have not. And that's what I'm saying. There's a total difference between just being stupid and not, paying attention and doing your job wrong and not caring. And there's it's completely different than knowing at that very moment that you're doing something you weren't supposed to do, you were conflicted off of, then you don't collect it right, you're doing it on purpose and you know it. It's truthfully or thankfully, no baldness yet. He's got a little receding hairline there. And he's got too much product in it. What is with these older gentlemen using product in their hair like this? It's driving me nuts.
Struck him back.
Yes.
You ended up on the ground.
Yes, we were wrestling, yes.
And ultimately, the other officers had to pull you off that man, correct?
No.
You ultimately, the fight was broken up between you and the other brother. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. And that fight was broken up by the officers who were on scene.
Yes.
After this physical altercation with the brother who was not ultimately restrained, both of the brothers and everybody else was just told by the officers, just go away, get out of here, go home, correct?
No, I believe one of the brothers left the scene, fled the scene, and the brother that was restrained was ultimately uncuffed and left free to go.
And nobody was arrested that night.
Correct.
Nobody chased down the brother that left the scene, correct?
That's correct.
And nobody arrested the brother that had been handcuffed.
Correct.
And no police reports were written by you or any of the other officers about this incident on that night.
I don't recall when the other officers wrote theirs. I did not write mine on that night.
The next day, you became aware that one or both of the brothers had arrived at the Canton Police Department to file a formal complaint for having been physically attacked by you and some of the other officers involved, correct?
I don't recall when I was made aware that they had come down to the police station.
You are aware that there was a complaint sought against you for the physical attack that was alleged to have occurred, correct?
It was brought to my attention that they had come down to the police station.
And you also are aware that only after that complaint had been sought, the police reports were then dated and filed against the two brothers, correct?
So I had spoken to the sergeant on duty the night of the incident.
I did it.
I'm just looking at
It's not a yes or no question.
So
They were trying not to put a report in. They were trying to sweep it all under the rug, weren't they? Of course they were. Go figure.
he was just asking you about dates. So can you answer the question? Ask the question
Could you
about the
repeat?
dates again, please.
I'm seeking the chronology of events. A fight occurs, a complaint against you occurs, and then police reports are filed against the two people that are complaining against you. Is that the chronology?
Yes.
And you're also aware that although he had been in a physical fight that night, no charges were ever brought against Chris Albert, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Do you know that?
I don't know. I don't even know where the fight occurred.
Officer Lank, what we just talked about, is that an example of you using your position as a police officer to come to the aid of one of the members of the Albert family?
It was me coming to the aid of a citizen who was terrified and scared for him and his family on that night.
Who happened to
Who
be
happened?
named what?
Excuse me. Who happened to be Chris Albert.
Oh,
You
bullshit.
mentioned Kevin Albert. Who's he?
Kevin Albert is a detective with the Canton Police.
Is he a coworker?
Yes.
How long have you known him?
I did know
Probably
that.
since 14, 15 years old.
And you also consider him to be a friend as well as a coworker.
I do.
No words.
Yes.
It's
And you're also
so-
well aware. I mean, you've said it already. He's the little brother of Brian Albert.
Correct.
And you're also aware that the reason that your department was ultimately recused from this investigation, Lieutenant Lank, is because of a perceived bias or conflict of interest between the Albert family and the Canton Police Department, correct?
Yes, there was a perceived bias.
Can you tell me one more time, and now I want to fast forward to the incident in question. What was the exact time that you arrived at the location, if you know?
I believe it was around 6:24, 6:25.
Okay. And you indicated that that was in response to a call that you got from Sergeant Good.
Yes, that's correct.
What made you decide, or could you have decided to take this particular call? Was it up to you, in other words?
I would never not take that call.
Okay, fair enough. So once you got the call, you knew that you were going to respond because there was something very serious afoot.
Correct.
Did you know at the time you got the call that that very serious incident was occurring at 34 Fairview?
No.
When did you realize that?
Upon speaking with Sergeant Good.
Okay, so Sergeant Good didn't, I guess that's what maybe I asked an inartful question. I was asking whether or not Sergeant Good told you before you actually arrived, he sort of had to have, that it's at 34 Fairview.
He did.
Okay. At that point, did a light bulb go off and you think to yourself, ding, that's the Albert House?
I don't recall if I realized it then or once I turned onto the street. I don't recall.
At some point before your car came to a stop, you knew this is 34 Fairview, this is the Albert household.
I knew that was Brian Albert's house, yes.
When you arrived, who was the ranking officer at the scene? You mentioned, obviously we've heard these names, Sergeant Good, Officer Mulaney, Officer Seraph, you. Who was the ranking officer?
When I arrived, Sergeant Good was the ranking officer.
Have you reviewed well, let me ask you a different question. Did you have a dash cam in the vehicle that you arrived in?
I did not.
And that's because was that a detective vehicle?
Yes.
Sometimes used undercover, et cetera?
Yes.
So it's not a fully marked cruiser.
No, not at all.
The other cruisers you're aware did have dash cams, correct?
Yes.
Have you reviewed any or all of those dash cams from Officer Mulaney, Officer Seraph, Sergeant Good?
Yes.
And you reviewed those in preparation for your testimony?
Yes.
I'd like to show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 16. And I'm going to ask Mr. Bates if you could fast forward that to about the runtime of about 28:35 or so, with the court's permission.
Yes.
Before we play this, it appears to be a still image of.
So let's not describe it.
Sure. What do you see on the screen?
I see 2 still images.
Okay. Do you recognize either or both of those images?
Yes.
How do you recognize them?
It looks like the scene from that morning from, I believe it's going to be the top one anyways, that 683 Officer Sarif's cruiser.
And the bottom one?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Looks like possibly Sergeant Goods based on where it's placed.
Okay. You indicated that you have reviewed these videos in anticipation of your testimony today, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to direct your attention to the top video, and specifically to an area right around this area in the video, which is highlighted. Before we play, a couple of foundational questions. Did you meet with Jennifer McCabe out behind the vehicle that's depicted in the Officer Sarif dash cam?
Yes,
Did you have some sort of a conversation with her?
I did.
At some point, did you see Ms. McCabe leave your presence and walk toward the driveway?
Once the conversation had terminated, I honestly don't recall where she went.
Did she tell you that she intended to go inside the house?
I had said to her that at some point we're going to need to speak to Brian and Nicole
Why did you think it was important to speak to Brian and Nicole?
because it's their property.
And somebody was laying in the snow, unconscious and unresponsive, correct?
Correct.
And obviously that could potentially, at least, implicate people inside the house.
Based on my conversation with Ms. McCabe, she had stated that the intention was for Mr. McCabe, for Mr. O'Keefe to join them at that house. So I wanted to get statements from everybody who was there.
Find out what happened, correct?
Correct.
I mean, that's sort of the obvious initial point of an investigation. Find out who the witnesses are and interview all of them, correct?
Correct.
And you began by talking to Ms. McCabe,
Yes.
knowing that she was a potential witness at least, correct?
She identified herself as a friend of Mr. O'Keefe.
Who had been with Mr. O'Keefe just hours before.
Yes.
He ended up laying in the snow, fighting for his life, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you also knew that there were other witnesses potentially inside the house because she just told you that, right?
I knew that that was ultimately where he was supposed to end up,
So if there were other witnesses in the house, if there were other individuals in the house, they also were potential witnesses.
potentially.
And Ms. McCabe indicated, I'm going to go in the house, correct?
I had told her that she's going to have to wake her sister up because we're going to need to speak with them.
You didn't think that it was more important to separate the witnesses and not let her talk to other witnesses?
No.
You thought it was appropriate to let all the witnesses get together and just discuss the facts before you have an opportunity to interview them separately?
Objection.
State us to the phone.
Lieutenant Lank, if you could direct your attention to the area that I highlighted earlier. Let's go ahead and play the video. So, did you see anything occur at or around the car in the distance?
It appears to be somebody walking towards the house.
Was that Jim McCabe?
I can't say for sure.
Do you see yourself, by the way, in this video?
Yes.
Where are you?
Right here.
Okay. You described for the, I don't know if it's tan or gray.
It's a gray North Face jacket with it's black on the top.
Okay. Toward the shoulders?
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and play the video, and I'll indicate another stopping place that I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about. Apologies. No, sorry. I'm standing across. Did you see another person shorter in stature approach you?
I believe right there.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Who is that?
I believe it's Kerry Roberts.
Okay. So play it. Pause it. Did you see yourself just exit screen right?
Yes.
It appeared that you had something in your hand?
Yes.
You're taking a call?
Yes.
On your cell phone?
Yes.
What was that call?
I don't recall. It could have. I can't see what time that is. I don't believe that I made the call to the CPAC unit until around 6:38, so I'm not sure who that call was from.
If you'll direct your attention, I think now down toward the camera below.
Yes.
You may see yourself into the frame. Can we go ahead and play it? Go ahead and pause it. Does it appear you're on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. Pause it. Did it appear that you walked off screen left?
Yes.
Still on the phone?
Yes.
Go ahead. Did you see somebody following that same direction?
It looked like Officer Sarif.
Go ahead, play it.
Actually, I'm wrong because that's Officer Sarah right there, so I'm incorrect.
You think it might have been Sergeant Good?
Could we play it back?
With the court's permission.
Sure, go ahead.
Pause. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, I'm mistaken. That's Sergeant Good.
Okay, go ahead. Does it appear that you've walked back into the frame?
Yes,
Are you followed by anybody?
I believe it's still Sergeant Good.
Are you speaking to Sergeant Good or are you walking away from him? Or can't you tell?
In that frame, it appears I'm standing right next to him.
Okay, let's go ahead and play. Pause it. It appeared you were sort of walking away from Sergeant Good off frame again.
Yes, it appears that I'm pacing.
Were you still on the phone?
Yes.
Go ahead. Pause it. Directing your attention to the top video, do you see the SUV in the video?
Yes.
Does that SUV appear to be leaving the scene?
Yes.
Do you know who's in that video? In that SUV?
I believe it's going to be Kerry Roberts and Karen Reed.
Okay. Go ahead. Pause it. At that point, are you walking back into the frame on the lower video?
Yes.
At this point, Lieutenant, are the lights on at 34 Fairview on or off?
They still appear to be off.
And at some point while you were at the scene, did the lights come on? I think you testified that earlier.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like you to pay special attention to that moment and maybe tell me to stop when you see those lights come on. It may be a minute or so.
Sure.
At this point, does it appear that you're still on the phone?
Yes.
How's it? At this point, is there anything changed in the scene?
Yes.
What's that?
It appears that there's now a light on inside the home.
And at this point, Ms. McCain has been inside the house for approximately how long, if you could estimate?
For maybe 3 minutes.
And are you still on the phone? Or have you been at that call?
I can't tell if I'm still on the phone at that point. I know that right around this time is when I end up speaking to the CPAC unit because I believe I get into the vehicle.
Let's play just a little bit further forward, maybe another 30 seconds or so. So, does it appear at this point, if you can see, does it appear that you've ended that call, or at least your hands are down by your side?
I can't tell.
You would agree with me, that's all for that. You would agree with me that that was, without counting the seconds, that was about a 5-minute phone call, or maybe a little better than 5 minutes.
I wasn't watching, to be honest.
Do you have any idea who you were talking to now that you've seen that?
I could make an educated guess, but I don't know for sure.
You did notice that several minutes after Jim McCabe went in the house, and while you were on that phone call, the lights finally came on at 34 Fairview, correct?
Correct.
At the point the lights came on, the ladder truck had already gone, left from the scene, correct?
I
Fire
believe,
engine.
I believe so.
The firefighters are all gone.
Yes.
The ambulance has already left and transported Mr. O'Keefe.
Yes.
The paramedics are gone, the EMTs.
Yes.
Fire captain and his SUV, that's gone. Is that right?
I'm sorry, was there a question?
The fire captain and his SUV, that's gone.
I'm not sure.
In other words, all the fire and EMTs.
I don't see them on camera.
Doesn't appear that any fire or EMTs are still on scene, correct?
Doesn't appear so.
Kerry Roberts is gone.
Yes.
Karen Reed is gone.
Yes.
So when the only parties left at the scene are members of the Albert family, Jen McCabe, and the Canton Police Department representatives, that's when the lights inside 34 Fairview finally came on.
Okay.
Is that yes?
Yes.
And then minutes after that call, you did then speak to to dispatch, correct?
CPAC dispatch.
Right, I was getting to that. It was a dispatch, and the dispatch was to CPAC, not to Canton PD.
Correct.
And at some point, did CPAC dispatch indicate that they were on their way, they had declined the call? What was that call all about?
So there are two separate calls.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Who did you talk to at CPAC?
I don't recall who handled the first call at dispatch.
Okay. Do you remember having a conversation with Kelly Dever?
No.
Okay.
Of course you don't.
I think we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about CPAC dispatch, not Canton Police dispatch.
Okay, fair enough. At some point, did you have a conversation with, well, let me ask it this way. I just don't know. Did you talk to both Canton dispatch and CPAC dispatch?
I definitely spoke to CPAC dispatch.
And,
I'm not sure if I spoke to Canton dispatch or not.
all right. At some point, did you say, did you indicate to one or the other, I'm responding to 34 Fairview, we have a Boston police officer who was just found?
I stated that I was already at 34 Fairview.
You indicated
I
that he
believe.
does have some trauma to his head area, correct?
That's correct.
And you said, quote, I'm not sure if he's been in a fight or whatever. Our medics don't believe he's going to make it,
Correct.
end quote. Sergeant Lank, you never saw John O'Keefe's body, correct?
Correct.
So somebody disclosed to you that it appeared that he had been in a, quote, fight or whatever, at least at that point. That was your thought.
No.
And what made you say, well, you didn't say to dispatch, the victim appears to have been shot, correct?
Correct.
You didn't say it appeared he'd been stabbed.
No.
He had been strangled.
How do they say
No.
no
You
to
didn't say
that?
it appeared he'd been hit by a car.
Correct.
You said it appeared that he'd been in a fight or whatever, correct?
I stated that he had some trauma to his head, and I said, I don't know if he has been in a fight. And then I believe I described it as a, I don't remember my exact terminology, but it was a crazy scene.
Chaotic scene.
Possibly. I don't recall my exact words, something to that effect.
But you do recall your exact words to dispatch being, I don't know if he's been in a fight or whatever.
Correct.
I want to talk about inside the house for just a few minutes, if I could. You've talked extensively about the crime scene outside. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about what did or did not happen inside the house. Did you actually make it inside the house at some point?
Yes.
Okay. When was that? How long? Let's use Jennifer McCabe as the time frame. How long after that did you finally go inside the house after she'd been in the house?
So it was specifically just after I got off the phone with CPAC.
So just a few minutes after we ended that video.
Yes.
And you walked you said either along the driveway or through the yard.
I believe it was up the driveway.
Okay. Once you went in the house, you made contact with the individuals in the house, correct?
Yes.
And you believed, at least at that point, that there was a potential that there was a, let me rephrase that. You knew that you were dealing with a violent incident, correct?
No.
You thought maybe it was just a heart attack?
What do you mean no?
I didn't know what it was. At that point in time, I didn't know what it was. Could have been a multitude of things.
But what was going through your mind at that point was it could have been a fight or whatever, because he had trauma to his head. Those were your words.
Those were my words, yes.
Okay. So you didn't think it was like some old man who died of old age, right?
Based on his age, no, I wouldn't have suspected that.
You didn't think it was an accidental drowning or something.
Again, it could have been a multitude of things to cause those injuries. So at that point in time, we had no idea what we were looking at.
But you were aware that it had something to do with a violent incident. He had trauma to his face and he's unconscious, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did you believe that there were any indicators that Mr. O'Keefe had been involved in some sort of physical altercation?
Possibly.
Okay. And that's because you used the phrase, he had trauma to his face and head, right?
That's what I had been told, yes.
So based on what you had been told, you knew that there was a person laying out unconscious just outside a residence that may have been involved in a physical altercation. That's fair.
It's a possibility, yes. Again, there were a multitude of things that were going through my head as possibilities.
But that's one of the premier possibilities, right?
I wouldn't say it's premier. It was one of the possibilities.
And it's logical to believe that if a fight had
Oh my
occurred,
God.
very well may have started inside the residence 30 feet away.
Look how
Objection, Your Honor.
red his face is
Sustained.
getting.
Did you believe in your mind that it was possible, given the fact that a violent confrontation was possible in your mind, that it could have started inside the house?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach?
Yes.
Ma'am?
Sure.
Lieutenant Lank, given what you believed at the time and the possibility that there was a fight or whatever, did you logically think in your mind, your state of mind was it possibly could have started in the house?
If it had been a confrontation, it could have started anywhere.
Right? The house is
Exactly.
anywhere, right?
Correct.
So in other words, the house is not excluded in your mind at that point as a starting point for the investigation. Is that right?
Well, the starting point would have been where Mr. O'Keefe had been discovered. And then based on speaking with the witnesses, there was no indication that he had ever made it into the house.
Well, you didn't know that.
That's if they were
until
telling
you
the
followed up on
truth.
your investigation, correct?
I learned that by speaking to Ms. McCabe.
So you just took Ms. McCabe's word for it.
At that point in time, that was the only person I had spoken to. And she gave me a timeline of events from that night where Mr. O'Keefe was supposed to come back to the house,
You
but
took
never made it.
her word for
You
it
were in
instead
and
of
you're forced to investigating cases.
investigating it,
You were
moron.
lied to by a witness.
Objection, Your Honor.
Can you answer that? Have you ever been lied to by a witness?
Yes.
So it's not necessarily the best investigative technique to just take a witness's word for something, correct?
Objection.
That's sustained.
You need to actually investigate the circumstances for yourself and to your own satisfaction. Is that a fair statement?
Sure.
One of those investigative techniques would be to walk into the house and figure out who's who there, correct?
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure. One of those investigative techniques to satisfy yourself that you're actually getting to the truth of the matter would be to walk into the house and figure out who's in the house first.
I will agree that I needed to speak to the people in the home. I can't just walk in their house. I have to announce myself, and they don't have to let me in.
I understand. I'm not trying to parse those words. I just mean entering the home and interviewing witnesses. That would be a normal part of your investigation initially, correct?
Yes.
And you also knew that the most obvious place to look for witnesses that may have information about a fallen man in the snow would be 30 feet away in the home, correct?
Correct.
So once you're inside the residence, you walked in the front door, correct?
Yes.
You indicated that there's a stair that services the second floor. Is that right?
Straight ahead, yes.
Just before the staircase, there's a door to your left, right?
I don't recall.
You remember whether or not there's a door that when you open it, goes directly downstairs to the basement.
I don't recall.
You indicated on direct
Yes, you
examination
don't
that
recall.
you didn't notice anything. I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me. You didn't notice anything out of place in the home.
No.
But you didn't go downstairs to the basement and look, did you?
No.
Didn't look for broken furniture down there.
I didn't enter the basement at all.
You didn't look for torn clothing down there.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
How about anywhere in the house? Did you look for broken furniture or torn clothing or blood evidence or DNA evidence?
At that point in time, I never made it past the front foyer area.
So the answer to my question is no, you did not.
I never made it past the front foyer area.
So if I were to ask you one more time, I know you never made it past the foyer. Did you ever investigate the foyer area or any other part of the house for evidence?
That you did not.
The only area I was able to observe at that point, everything appeared to be in order.
But you didn't search the rest of the house for a fight, Lieutenant. That's all I'm asking.
No, I wouldn't have had probable cause to do so.
And did you seek guidance from a court as to whether or not you might have probable cause?
Do you mean a search warrant?
That's what I mean.
I wouldn't fill out an affidavit for a search warrant because it wouldn't have probable cause.
In your mind, there was no PC to search that
You
house, right?
didn't even
Objection.
bother. Oh my God.
Let's move on from this.
One of the ways to secure a premises, any premises, a normal crime scene investigation would be to remove the witnesses and animals from that premises to sort of freeze it and lock it down, correct?
If there's reason to do so, yes.
Okay. Were the witnesses in this case asked to come outside the house in order to freeze the house down as a potential crime scene?
No,
Were any animals removed in order to freeze and lock down the house as a potential crime scene?
I didn't observe any animals.
Did you, and this is the last question on this issue, did you do anything to lock down and secure that premises, the inside of the house, in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
Oh,
Can you rephrase that, please?
Sure. Did you do anything to lock down and secure that premises in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
No.
Did you allow witnesses to go inside the house other than Jim McCabe?
Yes.
Who's that?
I believe Matt McCabe entered the house after I had come out.
And did you seek to separate any of the witnesses or admonish them that they are not to be in each other's presence and discuss the facts of the case before you had an opportunity to interview them?
No.
And as you sit here, you have no idea, when you were not in their presence, you have no idea what the occupants of that house were discussing
Correct.
or what they were doing.
I have no idea what they were doing.
Given the fact that you were the first law enforcement officer inside the house, did you seek to photograph anything inside the house?
When you say I was the first law enforcement officer, I was with Sergeant Good. Both of us walked in at the same time.
That's fair. I don't mean to be vague, but you were sort of leading the discussion, correct, with the interviews?
Yes.
At least according to Sergeant Good, you were taking charge.
Sure.
As the first law enforcement officer to take charge inside the house, did you seek to photograph that?
No.
That location.
No, I did not.
Did you make any drawings or diagrams of the layout of the house?
No, I did not.
Did you know where the furniture was or was not?
I don't know what you mean.
Did you note in a diagram where furniture was? There's a dining room table here. It's got 6 chairs. There's a kitchen table over there.
No, I did not.
Did you note in any document where the individuals were, the human beings were in relation to each other when you walked in the house?
Are you asking me where I were, or did I make a
I'm asking
diagram?
whether or not you documented that.
No.
Had you been told at the time that you went in the house that a key was found out in the yard that there was a shoe missing? His right shoe was missing?
No.
You didn't have that information yet?
I did not.
Did you subsequently learn that?
I learned that much later after we had already cleared the area.
Tell me what much later means. Days, hours, weeks?
I honestly couldn't give an exact answer on that.
I think I know the answer to this, but you didn't do any search for any missing clothing from the victim inside the house.
I did not.
Last question on this, or last series of questions on this issue. You understand the importance of electronic devices in modern investigations, correct?
Yes.
iPads, cell phones, things of that nature.
Sure.
Because they can record things like photographs, videos, conversations, text messages, and emails.
Yes.
Would you consider electronic devices relatively vital in modern law enforcement investigations?
I'm sorry, violent?
Vital.
Yes. Yes.
Right? They're critical items of evidence, right? It's like walking around with your entire life in your palm of your hand, correct?
Correct.
Did you seek to secure any electronic devices from any of the occupants of that house that morning?
No.
Did you ask for consent to look through their electronic devices, for instance, their cell phones, for text messages, communications?
No.
Did you believe, well, turning back to a question that you were asked by Mr. Lally, you did in fact interview Brian Albert at the scene, correct?
Yes.
You also interviewed his wife?
Yes.
Did you believe at any point before you interviewed Mr. Albert that it was incumbent upon you to let your supervisors know that there may be a conflict of interest because of a personal relationship that you had with the family?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you ever, in fact, not whether you believed it was important, but did you ever, in fact, notify any of your superiors at Canton PD or any other law enforcement agency that you had a personal relationship with the Albert family or members of the Albert family?
I did not.
Wow.
You indicated that you believe you spoke to Mr. Albert and his wife, Nicole Albert, for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Is that what you said?
Roughly.
I see your comment. Let me see any. And we all know what ends up happening to Good. I don't think I would lean on him too much. Oh, yeah. Exactly. I still want to see the details regarding that. Do you know? I haven't seen anything published anywhere of the details of his departure from the police force. I know, it's from, I don't even know if it said specifically misconduct, but it was in relation to Proctor and Proctor's phone and him being dismissed. But I haven't seen anywhere that it's gone into complete details because I am interested in finding out. If anyone does know if it's out there somewhere, let me know.
Did you record that conversation?
I did not.
You have your cell phone with you, correct?
Yes.
You know that has recording capability?
Yes.
Was anybody else with Nicole? When I say with, I mean in earshot of Nicole and Brian Albert when you interviewed either one of them or both of them?
Jennifer McCabe.
So you interviewed them together?
Yes.
Did you then interview Jennifer McCabe?
I had spoken to Jennifer McCabe outside. To the best of my memory, I believe once we were inside, I was able to get some more information from her based on the chronological order of
Haven't
events.
released
And when
any
you were
yet.
getting this information about the chronological order of events, that was within earshot of Brian Albert and Nicole Albert?
Yes.
So when you interviewed Brian Albert, Nicole and Jennifer McCabe were listening, correct?
Yes.
When you interviewed Nicole Albert, Brian Albert and Jennifer McCabe were listening?
Yes.
And when you got this chronological layout of the night before from Jennifer McCabe, Brian and Nicole were both listening?
Yes.
After you met with the three of them and interviewed
Of
them,
course,
you
you
indicated
don't
that you
see a
came back.
problem with
You
that,
already
do
left and
you?
came back. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, so forgive me. When you came back, it was around 9 a.m.?
No. I came back just moments later.
Had you actually left? I may be a bit confused, so I apologize. Had you actually left and driven back to Canton PD?
No.
Okay, so you just came back in the house?
When Mr. McCabe entered the house,
No, I'm so sorry. I'm jumping ahead, so that's unfair. You left. Now we're at the point where you've already cleared the crime scene.
Okay.
And then at some point you get called back.
Yes.
Because Ms. McCabe said she had additional information she wanted to impart.
Yes.
When you interviewed Ms. McCabe that second time, were Brian and Nicole Albert there?
Yes.
Were they within earshot?
Yes.
And they listened to that conversation as well?
Yes.
After that conversation, did you meet with any other witnesses between February 29th, later in the day, January 29th, any time until February 4th?
No.
None?
No.
I do want to talk for a second, just a brief second, about setting up a crime scene outdoors. You indicated that the crime scene was relatively
Okay,
secure.
Andy,
It was relatively
don't work
secure
too hard.
for, patrol cars or cruisers sort of around the perimeter
Yes.
of the yard. Is that right?
That's correct.
Thanks for being here.
Because it was windy.
Scene tape was up, but it was being blown all over the place.
Okay. And of course, Canton PD has the ability to go get stakes and just hammer some stakes into the dirt if you wish to.
No.
You don't have stakes at Canton PD?
No,
I
we-
mean stakes. E-S-T-A-K-E-S.
You can just
I know what a stake is. No, we don't have any.
Canton PD doesn't have
listen to me scream at these
Um,
idiots.
So if crime scene tape was blown down, that was just sort of a let's give up on it. Wouldn't do any good.
No.
In your mind, it was futile.
The crime scene tape was futile. Yes. It was left up until we made the determination to take it down, but it wasn't really doing its job.
All right. And once the scene was cleared, all those cruisers that were protecting that crime scene were now gone, right?
Yes.
And all the cruisers were gone by about 7:50 in the morning, 7:50, 7:55.
Yes.
So before 8 a.m., that crime scene was completely open. I'm sorry, after 8 a.m., that crime scene was completely open.
Yes.
Unsecured.
Yes.
And available to anybody who wanted access to it.
Correct.
One of the reasons to secure a crime scene is to minimize the possibility of evidence destruction on one hand, correct?
Yes.
And evidence tampering on the other hand, right?
Sure.
And examples of evidence tampering could be just moving a piece of evidence.
Waylon, from what I understand, they tried to put some up, attached it to the police car, which makes no sense. and ended up taking it down because it was too hard to keep up or whatever, which doesn't make any sense either because that stuff is so strong. If they had attached it to things that would, you know, instead of their car, which they would have had to move. Yeah, that was, I heard that yesterday too, when he talked about attaching the tape to the car. It made no sense. None. Yeah.
That's overruled. Just not too much further with this stuff.
I've just got a couple of quick questions about this.
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. An example or a couple of examples of evidence tampering could be
yeah,
something as simple as
Malin,
moving a piece of evidence, moving from here to
I'm
here.
trying
correct?
to think who said it. I think it was shoot, I don't know who said it, but I think it was yesterday or the day before. One of the officers said that they had gotten the tape out, they attached it to something and the police car. That's what he said. And I was like, what? Like, that's the stupidest thing ever. And then they just were like, whatever. What's the point? We don't need police tape. Yeah.
That would be tampering, yes.
Hiding evidence, getting rid of it, right?
Yes.
Taking evidence out of the scene or putting evidence back into the scene, correct?
Yes.
Or even planting evidence that didn't exist before. All of those would be examples of tampering with evidence.
Yes.
And setting up a proper crime scene minimizes or eliminates the possibility for that.
Setting up a crime scene would, could you say that again, please?
Sure. Setting up a proper crime scene, securing a proper crime scene minimizes or tries to eliminate the possibility of that type of evidence tampering, obviously.
It would, but at this point in time, we weren't aware. At this point in time, state police said they weren't responding. So there was no longer an area to preserve at that point.
So in your mind, well, let me phrase it a different way.
Wait,
what that means is after 8 a.m., that
Hold
seems
on,
just over.
sorry, I have to say that again.
It was left up until we made the determination to take it down, but it wasn't really doing its job.
All right. And
It
once
wasn't really doing
the
its
scene was
job.
cleared, all those cruisers that were protecting that
God.
crime scene were now gone, right?
Yes.
And all the cruisers were gone by about 7:50 in the morning, 7:50, 7:55.
Yes.
So before 8 a.m., that crime scene was completely open. I'm sorry, after 8 a.m., that crime scene was completely open.
Yes.
Unsecured.
Yes.
And available to anybody who wanted access to it.
Correct.
One of the reasons to secure a crime scene is to minimize the possibility of evidence destruction on one hand, correct?
Yes.
And evidence tampering on the other hand, right?
Sure.
And examples of evidence tampering could be just moving a piece of evidence.
Objection on.
That's overruled. Just not too much further with this stuff.
I've just got a couple of questions about this.
Could you repeat that, please?
So she
Sure.
does know how to say overruled. Instead of, oh, I'll let them have this one. I'll let them have that one. I'll let them have it. Ugh.
Example, or a couple of examples of evidence tampering could be something as simple as moving a piece of evidence, moving from here to here, correct?
That would be tampering, yes.
Hiding evidence, getting rid of it, right?
Yes.
Taking evidence out of the scene or putting evidence back into the scene, correct?
Yes.
Or even planting evidence that didn't exist before. All of those would be examples of tampering with evidence.
Yes.
And setting up a proper crime scene minimizes or eliminates the possibility for that.
Yes.
Setting up a crime scene would, could you say that again, please?
Sure. Setting up a proper crime scene, securing a proper crime scene minimizes or tries to eliminate the possibility of that type of evidence tampering, obviously.
It would, but at this point in time, we weren't aware. At this point in time, state police said they weren't responding. So there was no longer an area to
Wait,
preserve.
so at this point in time, state police said they weren't. Is that what he said? They weren't responding?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. An example, or a couple of examples of evidence tampering could be something as simple as moving a piece of evidence, moving from here to here, correct?
That would be tampering, yes.
Hiding evidence, getting rid of it, right?
Yes.
Taking evidence out of the scene or putting evidence back into the scene, correct?
Yes.
Or even planting evidence that didn't exist before. All of those would be examples of tampering with evidence.
Yes.
And setting up a proper crime scene minimizes or eliminates the possibility for that.
Setting up a crime scene would, could you say that again, please?
Sure. Setting up a proper crime scene, securing a proper crime scene minimizes or tries to eliminate the possibility of that type of evidence tampering, obviously.
It would, but at this point in time, we weren't aware. At this point in time, state police said they weren't responding. So there was no longer an area to preserve at that point.
So in your mind, well, let me phrase it a different way. What that means is after 8 a.m., that scene was just open.
It was.
You found both the blood that we saw pictures of and the cocktail glass that we
What
just introduced
the
to us.
hell? Okay, see, that makes no sense to me. How do you have a scene of a death? Michigan, I just said it because I live in Michigan. Massachusetts State Police investigates all deaths, right? They contact state police, and he says state police said they weren't going to respond. So there was no scene to preserve. What the fuck? Am I the only one confused by that? Oh, I just saw your post, Malin. It sounds yummy. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. How do you say the state police investigates all deaths, then say they're not going to respond, and then say, okay, well, here's a death. State police not going to come, so why preserve the scene? What? In what bizarro world does that make sense?
This morning, correct?
Yes.
You searched the area that was adjacent to where you believed the body was. Is that right?
We searched, I would say, about a 6x6 or 7x7 area,
6x6 or 7x7?
roughly. 6 feet on each side.
Right. You were looking for obviously anything that was out of place, anything that didn't belong.
Yes.
Like a man's size 12 shoe would have caught your attention.
It would.
A black baseball cap would have caught your attention.
It would.
Piece of plastic broken probably would have caught your attention.
Yes.
Certainly 45 pieces of plastic would have caught your attention.
Yes.
And between you and Officer
I
Seraph,
can't believe he just
Sergeant
admitted
Good,
that.
Officer Mulaney, Lieutenant Gallagher, none of that was found.
Now, the only things we found were the things that were documented.
You did find the blood, however. Is that right?
Yes.
Who literally physically leaned down and scooped that blood up?
Me.
And that was done in a plastic solo cup that we've heard a little bit about.
Yes. Yes.
You're aware that those solo cups are unsealed.
I believe Lieutenant Gallagher got them out of a sealed package.
When I say unsealed, I mean they don't have a lid on them. They're not airtight containers.
Correct.
So once you scoop up the snow and the dirt and the debris and the grass and everything else, along with the blood, they're just open to the air.
Yeah, there was snow and blood. There was no dirt and debris in the class that I can recall.
You're sure about that? There's no dirt and snow?
I didn't observe any. No,
You didn't observe any dirt and snow? You don't think there's dirt and snow?
I didn't observe
Wow.
any dirt in the glass.
There's no
Excuse me,
dirt
the
and
cup.
snow that landed on the
Certainly wasn't
grass
Sarah cup.
underneath.
No.
Well,
Certainly wasn't a crime
actually
scene.
on top, underneath,
No.
next to
Um,
a bunch of
You're
people
aware that the
trying
Massachusetts State Police
to
Crime Lab warns against collecting
perform
any biological
life-saving
material in
measures that
anything
have
made of
shoes
plastic,
and
correct?
stuff.
You aware
Yeah,
of that?
okay, no dirt. You're right. Mm-hmm.
After when you scooped up the blood, did you videotape that process so we know exactly which blood stain was scooped up from where?
I don't recall if it was videotaped, but we did not
Yeah,
document
he looked.
which
Oh,
scoop went
he's
in which
been
cup.
like that. It seems to
So
get
if there's
redder
multiple
and
contributors to
redder
blood,
and redder as his
multiple
testimonies
contributors
gone
of the
by.
blood, we sort of have no idea which blood drop belonged to whom, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Once these unsealed cups were in your possession, what did you do with them?
The cups were placed into the Toyota Tundra that I was driving that day and ultimately returned back to the police station.
Okay, and you talked a little bit about the process once you returned back to the station. They were put in a brown evidence bag, correct?
Yes.
And ultimately, when you log these items into tell me the name of it again, it's temporary evidence?
Temporary, excuse me, the blood was put in temporary evidence refrigerator.
Okay, inside the evidence bag. Cups are still inside the evidence bag and it's logged in.
I don't recall that. I'm not sure if I took them out or not. I don't recall.
You indicated that there's an item number or property number that's assigned to them.
Yes.
There's generated a seal or a label to go on the evidence that's being stored, correct?
It should, yes.
And the bag is sealed. The evidence bag is sealed like this red tape that we see on this thing, correct?
When possible, there are certain items that can't be bagged, and then sometimes you create a tag and attach it to a tag.
Right, but if it's a brown paper bag, it's an evidence bag, you certainly just fold over the edge of it and just put a red evidence seal on it to make sure that that's secure and not tampered with, correct?
That would be one way to do it, yes. I don't recall if I left them in the bag or took them out of the bag. I don't recall.
If you left them in the bag, you likely would have, if you're booking them into evidence, you likely would have used some red crime scene,
Yeah.
not crime scene, evidence tape.
If I'd left them in the bag, I would have put the property label right on the bag.
so everybody could see it?
Yes.
Okay, there's an evidence bag with important evidence in it. Don't mess with it. It's secure, correct?
Yes.
Can we have tab 23? Do you recognize what's depicted in this exhibit?
I believe it's Miss Reed's vehicle.
For the record, you're looking at what's been previously marked as exhibit 37. You see a little white rag down there by the right rear quarter panel?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to tab 24. You see that white rag?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Did you see a bag sitting next to it?
I do.
Doesn't look like an evidence bag, does it?
No, it looks like a Stop and Shop bag.
Stop and
But
Shop.
actually, it looks like an evidence bag. It just doesn't say Canton Police on it. It says Stop and Shop, but it does look like an evidence bag. It's the same thing.
That's a grocery bag.
It is. And that's exactly what our evidence bags look like. So that's what I thought it was at first.
Right, except it doesn't say anything about evidence on it. It says Stop and Shop, correct?
Correct.
What do you think's in that evidence bag? I'm sorry, Stop and Shop bag.
I'm not sure.
You were when these pictures were taken?
I could tell that it's the Canton Police Sally Port. So it's some point after the state police had seized the vehicle.
And at some point after you had brought the solo cups back to the station.
Correct.
Matter of fact, these were taken on February 1st when the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab finally took possession of these items of evidence, correct?
I was not in the police station for those 2 days.
Let's look at the next tab, tab 25. You recognize that?
It appears to be solo cups with substance inside.
Are those just any solo cups or the solo cups that you took back to the station from 34th Fairview?
I mean, I couldn't say definitively, but it certainly looks like it.
It appears that they have red liquid material floating in the bottom.
Yes.
Appear to be blood.
The top three I can see. Yeah. The only
What
Two, I
else
see
would
that
it
don't have it at the
be?
bottom, two
You
left.
collected other evidence in red
Next tab,
solo cups?
26. And you see somebody with gloved hands opening that bag, same bag, little white rag right there.
I do.
Okay. That appear to be the same 6 solo cups.
That you just showed me in the previous slide?
Yes.
Yes.
So are those the same 6 solo cups that you gathered at the scene at 34 Fairview and ultimately brought back to Canton PD?
They certainly appear like they are, but I can't say definitively, but they appear to be.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your words. Go ahead. Finish it.
They appear to be the same solo cups, but I couldn't say definitively.
Let's go back to tab 24. And the reason you can't say definitively, Lieutenant, is because there is no label on this bag, is there?
Not on that side of it, no.
There is no property number on this bag, is there?
Not on the side that's visible to me, no.
There's no evidence tape on this bag, is there?
Not on the side that's visible to me, no.
Well, let's look at the other photographs. Well, before we do that, are you suggesting that all of that material is on the other side of this bag?
I don't know. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you I don't know.
Okay, let's look at the next tab. Looking at it from the top, is there appear anywhere from that vantage point that there's evidence tape that's ever been put on that bag, that has ever been secured?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
Well, one of the ways that you can tell that evidence tape has been put on an item is because when the evidence tape is placed on it, it's completely sealed. And if in fact that seal is never broken, it's not torn off, it's cut, and there's initials put on, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Have you ever used evidence tape before?
Why is that
Seal
sustained?
anything?
Oh
sure
my
I have,
God,
I don't
that's
recall off the
policy and
top of my head.
procedure.
How long have you been a detective?
What the
I'm sorry, how long
hell?
were you a detective when you were a detective?
I was a detective for 11 months as a sergeant, and then I was a detective for 15 months back in 2011-12.
And in your experience, and how long have you been a police officer?
Over 24 years.
So in your 24 years of experience and over a year as a detective, you can't remember if you've ever used evidence sealing tape?
As I said, I'm sure I have. I just can't recall one off the top of my head.
If you recall using it at all, isn't the protocol that when evidence sealing tape is used to seal an item of evidence, when it's removed, it's not torn off, it's cut, and then new sealing tape is put over it with an initial and a date, correct?
Objection.
Do you know the answer to that?
I don't.
Okay, next question.
Thank you. That's all I have for this.
Okay, so just admit how
Mr. Lally?
stupid you are. No, you just look like a moron who lies his
Thank you.
ass
Just,
off
sir, with regard to,
that you don't know
Incident you were asked
got
about
an
March
evidence
2000.
bag.
you explain in your own words what happened.
So I had left
Wow.
the establishment, Centerfields is what it was called at the time. And the owner had asked me if I could drive a patron home who had too much to drink. So I obliged. Walked across the street to the parking lot, got in my truck with the patron. And as I was pulling out, that's when Mr. Albert approached my truck and told me how he had been in an altercation earlier in the evening with Mark Lopolato, and that Mark had made threats
Really?
towards
Why
him
are
and his
you
family,
bringing
that he
this
was going to
back
harm
up?
his family.
Like,
They had a young child at the time. Mr. Albert was concerned and asking me what he should do. Excuse me. As I was telling him
you're actually
what I think
making
he should
it
do,
worse, Lally.
he said something to the effect of, "Oh no, here they
Forgot
come."
about this.
And I observed multiple men
Why
walking
would
down the
you bring this
sidewalk
back up?
in our direction. At this point, I got out of my truck, approached the group, and pleaded with them. I said, "Guys, not tonight. He's by himself. He's with his wife, girlfriend. There's not going to be a fight tonight." And I did my best to defuse the situation, but they weren't having it. They made several attempts to push past me. Ultimately, a wrestling match ensued. Mr. Lopolato at one point said, "I know who you are. I don't give a fuck," and asked me what I was going to do about it. A wrestling match ensued. I was punched. And at that point, I defended myself and did engage in a physical altercation with Mark.
Now, you were asked about sort of timing of reports. You didn't write a report until a couple days later, is that correct?
That's correct.
Why was it?
I had spoken to the shift supervisor that night, and I asked him if he wanted me to return and generate a report at that point, and he advised me that I could do it the next time I was at work, which was a couple of days later.
And as far as the police responding to that parking lot that night, how were they notified?
I had yelled across the street when the group was trying to push its way past me. I yelled across the street to the bartender and the owner had made their way, excuse me, out onto the sidewalk street area. I yelled across the street and I said, call the police, and they ultimately called 911.
Now, what, if any, relevance or factor did any of that have in your minds in regard to your response and interviews or anything that you did on January 29th, 2022?
Absolutely nothing.
And in fact, that involved Christopher Albert in 2002, correct?
Yes, it did.
And you were at Brian Albert's residence in 2022, correct?
Correct.
And just to be clear, just because their last name is Albert, they're separate people. You have separate relationships with each of those persons, correct?
Correct.
Now, you grew up in the town, you work in the town. Fair to say you go to calls regarding people that you know,
Yes.
whether that be witnesses, people that you arrest, any of the like, correct?
Correct.
Now, with regard to the questions that you were asked about Mr. O'Keefe, just to be clear, you never laid eyes on Mr. O'Keefe's body at any point in time on January 29th or thereafter, correct?
No, I didn't.
You were asked some questions about on the cruiser cam video whether you were on the phone. You indicated that you can make an educated guess as to who you were on the phone with. Who would that be?
Lieutenant Gallagher.
And so at the time that you're on the phone from that video, Lieutenant Gallagher was not on scene yet, correct?
Correct.
Now, with respect to the weather on that day, you talked a bit about sort of weather as you were on scene. During the time that you were on scene, did it essentially persist in the same manner?
Yes.
And then later on that day, what, if any, change occurred with regard to the weather?
As I recall, while we were there, it stayed the same. If anything, it might have gotten even worse.
And from your memory of that day, did that continue throughout the course of the day while you were working?
Yes.
Now, with regard to in the house at 34 Fairview Road, each of those occasions, if you could, with respect to the three occasions that you went inside the house to speak to people, where were those people within the house?
The first time I went in, Brian Albert and Nicole Albert were located, I believe, on the stairs or sitting possibly at some point on the stairs. Jen McCabe was to my right. The second time I went back in, excuse me, was also through the front door. And it was the same positioning, except this time Matt McCabe was present and Matt was also to my right.
And then on the third occasion, when yourself and Lieutenant Gallagher came back to speak to Mr. McCabe further?
We went in through the door to the right. So it's to the right of the main door. We went in through that door and stayed in like the dining kitchen area. And that's where I spoke with Jennifer.
And that third time that you went back and you spoke with Jennifer, where was Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Matthew McCabe, any of those parties that were there before? You know?
They were present. I actually don't recall if Matthew McCabe was there the third time. Brian and Nicole were definitely there. I believe they were in the general vicinity, but I couldn't tell you exactly where they were.
And same thing when you went back on that third occasion. What, if anything, did you note as far as the interior of the house? Anything askew? Anything out of place?
No, everything looked to be in order.
Nothing further.
May we approach very briefly?
Yes.
Mayor, you are.
Yes.
Very briefly. Lieutenant Lank, you indicated that you claimed in your description that you were assaulted by the Lolita brothers, right?
Yes.
The fact is they were never convicted of anything having to do with this case, the case that you described. Is that true?
Correct.
You also indicated that they made either a threatening comment to you or a disparaging comment to you about, I don't give a fuck, correct?
Correct.
Is it true that what was actually said was you said to them, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to make your life miserable?
No.
All of this incident was in furtherance of you protecting a member of the Albert family when they asked for your help, correct?
No, it was me protecting someone who asked for my help who was clearly in fear.
Who happened to be an Albert.
Happened to be an Albert.
All right, you are all set. Thank you, Lieutenant. You're all set, sir.
All right, who's next? Charles Ray. He's a short one.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Charles
Could you please
Ray.
state your name and spell your last name for the very please?
Charles Ray, R-A-E.
And how are you employed, sir?
Yeah, he.
I work for the Kansas Police Department.
And how long have you been a member of the
He
Kansas
looked
Police?
embarrassed.
Approximately 25 years.
Read that.
And what rank or assignment do you currently have with the Kansas Police?
Crazy.
I'm a lieutenant.
And how long have you had the rank of lieutenant with the Kansas Police?
I've been a lieutenant for about 9 years.
And what, if any, sort of specialized duties or assignments do you have within the Kansas Police Department?
Day to day, I'll be a patrol shift commander. Some ancillary duties include overseeing the family services unit, which includes juvenile services, school resource offices, sexual assault investigations, and special populations.
And if I could turn your attention to January 29th, 2022, were you working that day?
I came in to work the day shift at about 7:30 a.m.
And what is the day shift at the Tampa Police?
7:45 a.m. to 3:45 p.m.
And when you arrived that day at the department, what if anything was sort of going on at the department that day when you arrived?
Well, there was a well forecasted snowstorm. It was in the early stages. So when I came in, there was a lot of, as there usually is a shift change, a lot of comings and goings, people leaving the shift, people coming onto the shift. And it was a busy dispatch area at that time.
And at some point after you arrived at work, were you made aware of a call that your department had dispatched to shortly after 6 a.m. on that day?
Correct.
And so just in general terms, what was it that you learned about that call?
The outgoing shift sergeant, when he returned, usually there's a roll call. I believe that day, I don't recall there being a roll call, but there was an exchange of information, as there typically is in the dispatch area. And I was advised that there was an unresponsive man found in the snow on Fairview Road.
And that outgoing shift supervisor was who?
Sergeant Shungard.
And what, if any, information were you given as far as the unresponsive man?
That he was a Boston police officer, and he was found at 34 Fairview Road.
Oh, quit smacking your lips.
Well, yes, at some point, did you learn what his name was?
Yes, Mr.
And who did you learn?
Mr. John O'Keefe.
And were you familiar with Mr. O'Keefe?
I never met him before, no.
At some point, did you become aware of where he lived?
Yes.
And from what you had learned from Sergeant Good, in addition to Mr. O'Keefe being transported from the scene to the hospital, who, if anyone else, was transported from the scene to the hospital?
I was advised that his girlfriend was on the scene as well, and she was subsequently transported to Good Samaritan Hospital, the same hospital that Mr. O'Keefe was transported to.
And at some point over the course of that morning, did you become aware of any children that Mr. O'Keefe was responsible for?
There's a
as far as
bird
legal guard?
outside my window. And
Yes, I was
chirping.
made aware
I don't know if you
that
guys can hear that.
he was the guardian of two young children that may or may not be at the house at
Oh,
that time
nice
unattended, given the fact
my
that
window
both
cracked
he and
open.
his girlfriend were transported.
Based on that information, what, if anything, did you decide to do?
I'm not sure if it was a suggestion of the former chief or if it was just something that organically developed, but it seemed like the right thing to do a well-being check on the children at One Meadows Ave, which was Mr. O'Keefe's residence.
And just with respect to the former chief specifically, who are you talking about?
Ken Berkowitz.
And a well-being check, if you could describe to the jury, so what is involved in that and what does it entail as it applies to this situation?
As it applies to this situation, we believe that there may be two young unattended children, and knowing that both Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed wouldn't be returning to the house anytime soon, we wanted to check on them so that if they woke up and wonder where everybody was and need some assistance, that perhaps we could provide that and help locate other loved ones or bring them to the police station if we had to, just to kind of provide some sort of comforting presence.
And within the Canton Police Department, is there a specific cruiser that's allocated for sort of the shift supervisor?
Yes, 682.
And is that cruiser that you used to go to One Meadows Ave?
We did.
And when you say we, who, if anyone, went with you?
Sergeant Lehan, and he was the incoming sergeant.
And what, if any, role does Sergeant Lehan have with regard to the department specifically?
Now he's a detective sergeant and prosecutor. At that time, he was a shift sergeant.
And so the 682 cruiser that you were driving, are you aware that that has a cruiser camera fixed to it?
Correct.
Have you had occasion to review that footage from that particular cruiser on that particular morning?
I have now, yes.
Your Honor, if I could ask to publish for the jury a portion of Exhibit 41.
Okay.
Gentlemen, if I could have that on screen, if I could ask Ms. Gilman if you could fast forward to 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 53 seconds. And what's up on the screen right now, Lieutenant, do you recognize what that is?
That'd be the interior of Sallyport Door 3, which is where the 682 would have been parked.
And then from there is where you drove from that position to One Meadows, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Gilman, if you could just run forward. A minute. And if you could pause it there, and Ms. Gilman, if you could, I'd ask you to fast forward to about 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 25 seconds. If you could play from there, please. Ms. Gilman, if you could pause it there. What's up on the screen, Lieutenant? Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
1 Meadows Ave.
And sort of toward the middle of the screen, is that sort of a front door to the home? Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
The door that you went to, is that door or did you go to a different door? If you know.
I don't remember which door we went to.
Now, with respect,
Have a good one, Mayland. Have
No.
fun.
subsequent to this, did you come to learn also that residents of 1 Meadows Ave had camera?
Yes.
Have you seen camera footage from both the driveway and the front door from the residents from that morning when you were there?
Yes.
Now, as far as a well-being check, if you could just sort of physically describe to the jury, what is it that you're doing with regard to a well-being check when you come to a house like this?
We're going to check to see if there's anybody there, which is typically the case. And we're going to go knock on doors and see if there's any activity of anybody at the home.
If you can pause it there, Mr. Now, so it appears unless you pull into the driveway at 1 Meadows Ave, is that correct?
Yes.
And there's a vehicle directly in front of you, correct?
Correct.
And at the time, you were not aware of or the particulars of the incident that occurred earlier in the morning, correct?
Correct.
And fair to say from what's depicted up on the screen was that essentially what the driveway looked like at that time when you came in there at approximately 8:23 in the morning, correct?
Yes.
And as far as when you went to knock on the door, are you just knocking on the front door and then no one answers and that's it? Or do you look around the house? What is it that you do on a well-being check?
You would go to the front door or the door that you think everyone would use in a whatever the situation was. You take a cursory glance around to see if there's any reason to check anywhere else. In this case, it's a fenced backyard, so I'm not going to be going back there. Because if in this case we weren't looking for someone that might be a dead body, we were looking for 2 children that would be up and active.
Now, as far as that vehicle that's parked in the driveway in front of you, did you have any reason to look at it, inspect it, or anything like that at this point that you're at the house?
No.
And as far as any condition of it, specifically the right rear passenger side, you didn't have any occasion to go inspecting that or looking at it at that point, correct?
Correct.
Now, as far as from this video, the condition of the right rear passenger side, and the condition vis-a-vis the left rear passenger side, that's how it appeared in the driveway when you pulled up, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Gilman, if you could hit play. You could pause right there, Mr. So the individual just sort of walked across the front of the cruiser. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And who was that?
That was me.
Your Honor, I'm not sure how. Maybe approach.
Okay. Lieutenant, we're going to need you back tomorrow. We're going to break it today. All right, so, Doris, that's it. You can stay just for a minute.
Picking up where we left off yesterday afternoon, Lieutenant, Ms. Gilman, if I can have Exhibit 41 back up on the screen. And Lieutenant, so we're about 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 58 seconds into this particular cruiser video. With respect to this video, if you could just run during where we are and what we're looking at here.
This is 1 Meadows Ave, Canton, Mass. John O'Keefe's residence.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could play this one. Now, Lieutenant Ray, while this is up on the screen, if I could ask you to, you've reviewed this video since this date of January 29, 2022, correct?
Yes.
And using the laser pointer in front of you, if you could direct the jury's attention to what, if anything, you noted in regard to the rear area of the vehicle in front of you.
This vehicle right here is Miss Reed's vehicle. I believe that vehicle there is Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle. And I didn't, although I didn't know it at the time, but I have since reviewed. Move the strike.
So let him finish his. You didn't know it at the time, but you have since what?
I have since reviewed this video, and I can tell that there is a.
Okay, the objection sustained.
Continue.
Now, during the course of
No, we just got to ask the question differently.
during the course of your opening check, where is it around the residence that you know?
We initially went up to one of the front doors. I believe it was the one on the right, and we rang the doorbell, knocked on the door, and we were seeing if we could raise anybody and get any response.
And during the time that you were you able to raise anybody and get any response?
No, sir.
And at some point subsequent to this, what, if anything, did you learn as to the whereabouts of the children at the time that you were at the residence at 8:23, approximately 8?
After we left and we weren't able to raise anybody, shortly thereafter, we subsequently we did find out that the children were staying with friends or family at this time.
And Lieutenant, if you know approximately how long were you at the residence doing this well-being check?
5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes.
Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to just bring the video forward to about 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 30 seconds. You can stop there, Mr. Gilman. Thank you very much. Now, with reference to that driveway area that was in front of your vehicle when you parked there, what, if anything, beyond sort of snow, ice, or things like that, did you note within the driveway itself?
Within the driveway itself, I noticed there's 2 vehicles in the driveway.
Anything on the ground that you noted that didn't, anything on the ground beyond snow, did you know?
No, sir.
Now, sir, with reference to the residents of One Meadows Ave, are you familiar with there being a security system or ring video system at that residence?
Yes, there is a ring camera system at that residence.
And subsequently to this date, have you seen that ring video?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have Exhibit 6, if I could have video 159. Excuse me, if I ask you this. Now, Lieutenant Ray, what's up on screen? Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
Recognize that to be the driveway of One Meadows Ave, and myself inside and Leanne exiting our cruiser while in the driveway.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could just play it through from there. And Ms. Gilman, if I can have the next video 160. If you could just pause it for just a moment. Now, again, what's up on the screen, Lieutenant, do you recognize that?
Yes.
What do you recognize?
That's me exiting the front of the residence, walking towards the driveway.
Ms. Gilman, if you could play through. Ms. Gilman, can I have Exhibit 5? And from that guy's video number 18. If you could just pause it there. Lieutenant, do you recognize what's picked up on screen now?
Yes.
What do you recognize that?
One of the front doors to Mr. O'Keefe's house, and I'm entering the frame on the left.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could run Thank you. Ms. Gilman, if I could have the next video 19. Pause it there, Ms. Gilman. Again, in addition to going to the front door and sort of in the driveway area, where, if anywhere, are you going in this video now?
It looks like I'm heading towards from this vantage point to the right, which if you look at the house from the front would be the left, to see if there's anything in plain view through the windows, if I can see anybody, any persons, any activity.
Ms. Gilman, if you could press play. Thank you, Ms. Gilman. You can take that down, Mr. Rocker. If we can have the light back on first. And Lieutenant Ray, just lastly, once you left the residence of One Meadows Ave, where did you go?
We went back to the police station.
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Christine Eddy?
The defense has no questions.
Okay, you are all set. Thank you.
All right, that was quick. Next one is another quick one, I know. No. Hold on. Michael Camerano.
Just step over there. Please stop looking at the jury. You saw this with the other court during the case now, and answer the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you. Thank you. Just need you to really speak loudly into that microphone. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Michael Camerano, Camerano.
And where do you live, sir?
Street in Canton.
So I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up, please, okay?
Sir, if you want that microphone, just around to whatever's comfortable, okay?
Mhm.
And how long have you lived in Canton?
18 years.
And that residence you live at, who, if anyone, do you live there with?
My wife and 2 children,
And what's your wife's name?
Catherine,
And how old are your 2 children?
16 and 13.
And the 16-year-old, is that a boy or a girl?
Girl,
And your other child, is that a boy or a girl?
boy,
Now, your wife, how long have you, the two of you been married?
25 years.
And do you work, sir?
Yes.
What is it that you do for work?
Labor's union.
And does your wife work as well?
Correct.
And what does she do?
She's a nurse.
Sir, if I could turn your attention to January 28th, 2022. Do you recall that date, sir?
Yes.
And were you working that day?
Yes.
And do you recall what day of the weekend was?
Friday.
And following work, what did you do after work?
I went home, did some stuff with the kids.
And during the time that you were home, who, if anyone, did you speak with, either via phone, text?
I was talking to John O'Keefe.
And with regard to John O'Keefe, how did you know John O'Keefe?
I met John 7 years ago.
And how was it that the two of you met?
We met through mutual friends, and then our kids became very friendly.
And the mutual friends through whom you met, who were they?
The Robertses,
And what are their first names?
Kurt and Kerry.
And starting with Kurt Roberts, how do you know Kurt Roberts?
I grew up with Kurt.
Where did the two of you grow up?
Milton.
So you've known Kurt Roberts most of your life, is that correct?
Correct.
And you mentioned that, so you have 2 children. How many children did Mr. O'Keefe have?
2.
And those 2 children, as far as their ages and genders, what were they in relation to your 2 children?
Same.
So 7-year-old girl.
13-year-old son. Yes.
And were each of your 2 children friends with Mr. O'Keefe's niece and nephew?
Correct.
Now, as far as friends were concerned, starting with your children and Mr. O'Keefe's niece and nephew, how close friends were they?
My daughter was extremely close.
And extremely close with John
Kaylee.
O'Keefe's niece, Kaylee.
Yeah.
And with reference to your son and John O'Keefe's nephew, Patrick, what was sort of the nature of their relationship?
They were close also.
And as far as activities, what, if any, sort of did your kids do with Patrick and Kaylee?
Patrick and Michael played baseball together. Kaylee and Madeline played basketball. Soccer also.
And John O'Keefe, how would you describe your relationship with John?
We were close. We did a lot of stuff together. Pick up the kids, drop the kids off. We coordinated a lot of stuff together. We were friends.
And your residence versus, you're familiar with where Mr. O'Keefe lived, correct?
Yes.
Where did he live?
Meadows Ave.
And how far away is Meadows Ave from where you live?
5 minutes.
Now, with regard to the girls, and by that I mean your daughter and John O'Keefe's niece, Kaylee, what, if anything, was going on with them on that particular day?
They both received acceptance letters to go to school.
And which school was that? Is
Bishop Fan?
that a private school?
Yes.
So at the time of this in January 28th, 2022, what grade was your daughter and Kaylee first?
8th grade.
And so this would have been going into 9th grade or high school, is that right?
Correct.
And what, if any, conversations did you have with Mr. O'Keefe in reference to that at some point in the afternoon?
We were both excited. They both received acceptance letters, and we want to get the kids together.
Can I may I approach?
Yes.
Confirm the document.
Okay.
Just as far as specifically with reference to page, probably on page 188 of that document. You can look at that in a couple of minutes.
So I'm going to instruct the jury on this. These are text messages, right? All right. So folks, before you consider any electronic communications in your deliberations, you must first find that it's more likely true than not that the person who authored or sent these messages is this witness and or John O'Keefe. If you do not find that it's more likely true than not that the messages were sent or authored by Mr. Camerado or Mr. O'Keefe, then you may not consider the electronic communication in deciding this case. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Lally.
Can I may I approach this briefly again?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, before I do that, Mr. Camerano, do you recognize what's depicted on that page that I just showed you?
Yes.
What do you recognize it to be?
Text messages.
And those text messages that you had back and forth with Mr. O'Keefe on that date of January 28th?
Correct.
You're on the call, to introduce and admit the book.
Okay, is there any objection?
There you are.
Thank you.
Mr. Camerano, bring your attention back to page 187 of that document. Do you see anything in there listing sort of participants in a text communication or conversation? On the bottom of the page.
Yes.
And as far as who are sort of listed as the participants in that conversation that comes to follow on the next page? So just from page 187.
My wife.
Your wife and who, if anyone else?
John.
And your wife, John, and is your number there as well? Sorry, you have to.
Correct.
So essentially, that's a conversation between yourself, your wife, Catherine, and John O'Keefe, correct?
Correct.
Now, beyond sort of your memory of that, as far as the numbers that are associated with those names, do you recognize any of those numbers as being yours, your wife's, and John O'Keefe's?
No, there's just 3 numbers there.
Now, sir, if I could ask you to flip the page to the next one, 188. Your Honor, with court's permission, may Ms. Gilman publish this to the jury as well?
Yes.
So, sir, what's up on the screen right now? Is that what you have before you as page 188 of exhibits after this full page?
Yes.
What's up on the screen? Is that what you have before?
Correct.
And as far as from these conversations, there are blue bubbles and green bubbles. Is that correct?
Correct.
And if you can tell from the content or from anything else on the page for you, who was communicating in the blue bubble and who was communicating in the green?
Katie, my wife.
From within.
Oh no, I'm communicating. Sorry, excuse me.
So there's a from and a to. Is that
Yes. Correct.
And so the center would be in the from. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
So this first one on the top of page 188. This is from you. Is that correct?
Correct.
What, if anything, did you say in this conversation?
Congrats. This is great news.
And what, if anything, are you referring to by that?
Kaylee getting her acceptance letter.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could just scroll down. And the next bubble, who is that from and what does it say?
It's from me. Yes, we did.
And if you could continue to scroll down. Ms. Gilman. And again, from this bubble, who is this from and what does it say?
It's from John. Same news, I hope.
Is that still in reference to the news regarding team?
Correct.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down. Yeah. And again, sir, the next bubble, who is it from and what does it say?
It's from me. Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if you could. The next green bubble, what, if anything, is that? And who is it from?
From John. Sweet. Congrats, Madeline.
And is that your daughter's name?
Correct.
And if you could continue to scroll down, Ms. Gilman. And again, the next bubble, who is it from and what does it say?
It's from my wife. I'm so excited for these girls. Madeline doesn't know yet.
And again, the next bubble, who is it from and what does it say?
From JJ.
And
Well, I told Kaylee already, so I'm sure she's texted her by now. Poor kid is probably a nervous wreck.
and the next bubble,
I know.
who is that from?
It's from my wife, Kate.
And the next bubble, sir.
From me, I am sure she's freaking out. From John, no doubt.
Now, sir, if I could, may I approach John just a
Yes.
So, sir, I'm going to direct your attention to within same exhibits, page 156. And so just before we get to that, on this particular day, January 28, 2022, where was your wife that day?
She was at home.
And at some point, did she go to work on the 28th?
Correct.
And what is sort of her typical work schedule with reference to, at that time, what was her sort of typical work schedule with reference to weekends?
She worked weekend nights, her shift.
And as far as your typical schedule on Friday evenings, what, if anything, was it that you would typically do?
Friday, I would be with the kids. I would, get them ready for stuff for the weekend, take care of all the activity that we have.
And then in reference to that, as far as the weekends were concerned, or Friday evenings in particular, what, if any, sort of usual thing would you do with reference to Mr. O'Keefe?
I would usually go over the O'Keefe's house every Friday.
And with your children, is that correct?
Correct. With at least one of them, if not both of them.
With your son's hanging out with Patrick or your daughter's hanging out with Kaylee, typically on Friday, correct?
Correct.
Now, with reference to what you have before you as page 156 of this exhibit, again, towards the bottom, is there an indication as to a conversation starting on the next page as far as who, if anyone, participants are?
Myself and John.
And so if I could ask you to flip the page over to page 157. And Your Honor, with court's permission, can I publish this part of the conversation for the jury?
Yes. There's no objection, Mr. Jackson, right?
No objection.
My apologies. Directing your attention to this camera on what on 157 before you, is that what's up on the screen now?
Yes.
And so my apologies. With regards to this first bubble on page 157, who's it from and what is it?
From JJ. You guys around tonight.
And with respect to that next blue bubble, who's it from and what is it?
From me, Kate is working. I'm around. Madeline Michael is going to the Loose to play with a friend.
And what is a loose play?
The Loose is a elementary school.
Was there a play?
There's a park down there. Activities for kids.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down to the next level. And again, who's it from and what does it say, sir?
From JJ. Okay. At the driveway with her now. I'll text on my way back.
And could that be at the doctor?
Could be.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down to the next level. And again, who's it from and what does it say?
Oh, Don. From me to JJ. Everything okay.
And if you could down to the next level, Ms. Gilman. And again, who is it from and what does it say?
From JJ. Yes, stupid shit.
So this camera on the next level has no text to it, is that correct?
Correct.
And now you can move out of the way. I just wanted that question.
The next level below that green one, again, who is it from and what does it say, sir?
From Johnny. Just told Dr. Jin that they both got into fiend.
And if you could scroll down to the next level. And again, green bubble, who is it from and what does it say, sir?
From Johnny. Want to drop Madeline off and hit the hillside for a bit.
And what is the hillside, sir?
It's a pub.
And where is it located?
Canton.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down again. And the blue bubble on the screen, who is that from and what does it say?
From me to Johnny. I probably won't get to your house till 5:30. From Johnny. Okay. From me, I am leaving in 10. From JJ. Okay.
Thank you.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down one last time, and that's, thank you. Ms. Gilman, you can take that. Your Honor, may I approach this retrieve?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Cameron, with regard to your statement in the text as far as leaving now, where were you leaving and where were you going to?
Leaving my house, going to John's house.
And who, if anyone, was going with you at that time?
My daughter.
And if you know approximately what time did you arrive at Mr. O'Keefe's house?
I don't.
Now, through your friendship with Mr. O'Keefe, did you become familiar with a person named Karen Reed?
Yes.
And how did you become familiar with her, and who, if anyone, was she to Mr. O'Keefe as far as?
John introduced me to her. She was John's girlfriend.
And just to be clear, do you see Ms. Reed in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you just identify as to where she's seated or an article of clothing that she's wearing?
She's sitting right there.
No, just as a record of like identification of the defendant by the witness.
Yes.
Now, with regard to Ms. Reed, prior to that date of January 28, 2022, how long had you known Ms. Reed?
A year?
Do you recall approximately when you met her?
No.
And as far as you were aware, where Mr. O'Keefe lived, did Ms. Reed live there as well?
Yes, not full time.
So she had a house of her own as far as you knew?
Correct.
And about how often on a given week would you see Mr. O'Keefe?
A couple times.
And about how often would you see Ms. Reed?
I would see her also.
Now, as far as your relationship with Mr. O'Keefe and or Ms. Reed, would there be occasions where you would see Mr. O'Keefe without Ms. Reed?
Correct. Yes.
Would there be any occasion where you would see Ms. Reed without Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes.
And where would that be?
At the house. Maybe at Fields.
Now, with reference to their relationship, what, if any, conversation did you have with Mr. O'Keefe in regard to his relationship with Ms. Reed?
Objection.
Sustain. We need a time frame.
In the time period around, say, the weeks leading up to January 28, 2022, what, if any, conversation do you recall having with Mr. O'Keefe in regard to his relationship with Ms. Reed?
Just regular guy conversations.
Anything specific that you can recall?
No.
Now, when you arrived at the house, or typically when you would come over to Mr. O'Keefe's house, where is it that you would park?
In the driveway to the right.
And is that what you did on this particular day?
Yes.
When you arrived at the house, where did you go?
Into the house.
Yourself and your dog?
Yes.
And when you got in there, who, if anyone, was at the house at that time?
Kaylee and John.
And what is it that you did, or what is it that occurred while you were in the house?
Excuse me?
What happened in the house?
We were just congratulating the girls, talking about how good it's going to be, different school, and just really excited for the girls.
And at some point, did yourself and Mr. O'Keefe make plans to leave the house?
Yes.
And where did you go?
We went down to McCarthy's.
And is that CF McCarthy?
Correct.
Is that an establishment? Where is that?
It's in Canton Center.
And about how far away from Mr. O'Keefe's house is that?
5-10 minutes.
Is that somewhere that you're familiar with? You've been before?
Not frequently, no.
Now, with regard to, you know approximately what time you left Mr. O'Keefe's house and went to CF McCarthy?
I don't.
And where were the girls when the two of you went to CF McCarthy?
They were in the house.
And at the time that you left there and went to CF McCarthy's, who, if anyone else, were there any plans as far as meeting anybody else there?
I was supposed to meet Karen.
Now, prior to leaving the house, what, if anything, did you or Mr. O'Keefe do with reference to the vehicles that were in the driveway?
So when we were leaving the house, I was parked in the driveway. John was parked on the left side of the driveway. John asked me I backed up so John could move his car out of the way so Karen could pull her car into the garage because of the snowstorm.
I'm sorry, you said because of the what now?
Snowstorm?
And as far as the snowstorm was concerned, what, if anything, did you know at that point in regard to that?
We're supposed to get a lot of snow.
Oh my God, enough with
Let me have
the
just 1 moment.
snow.
Yes.
With the court's permission, I would ask that Ms. Gilman be allowed to publish a part of Exhibit 6, which is the driveway of the ring video.
Okay.
Mr. Cameron, do you recognize what's up on?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that?
Myself and my daughter.
And as far as, may I approach the witness again, Your Honor?
Yes.
And Ms. Cameron, using that laser pointer that you now have with you, if you could direct the jury's attention to where in this video you observe yourself and your daughter. And there are two vehicles in this sort of frame, is that correct?
Yes.
If you could, using the laser pointer, just describe to the jury whose car is whose and where it is.
The white car is mine. The SUV is John's.
Now, as far as the ring system that Mr. O'Keefe had at his house at this time, as far as your knowledge of it, what, if anything, would the two of you do with reference to sort of picking up or dropping off kids in the ring video?
Yes, he had a camera, so like I'd always wave or give him, I always knew that he was like watching.
And do you know how he was watching if he wasn't home?
Yes, on his phone.
So would that be sort of a running joke between the two of you?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman, if you could, please. Now, Mr. Cameron, are you familiar with Mr. O'Keefe's house? You've been there plenty of times, correct?
Yes.
And with reference to sort of where you and your daughter sort of exited from the screen, what, if any, sort of entrances to the home are located in that area?
2 garage doors.
And are you familiar with that garage area?
Yes.
Is that typically how you would enter the house?
Yes.
And with regard to sort of the condition of the garage, was Mr. O'Keefe particular about that?
Yes. He was.
And how so?
He always kept things very tight. He was like OCD.
And so as far as garage doors, and what I mean by garage doors is sort of electronic up and
So there's
down
2 garage doors. They go up and down, and there's a door. Just a single entry door.
on the left, as far as the left.
There was an old classic car he had, convertible.
And then as far as the right door,
It was empty.
and once beyond those sort of bay doors that go up and down, what, if any, other entranceway into the garage was?
There's a side door.
And if you recall, when you were entering at that time on 28th with your daughter, how did you enter?
We went to the garage door, electric door.
And was that something, what, if anything, was affixed to those garage doors as far as security was concerned, beyond that?
A keypad. We'd have to punch in a key.
And at the time or at any time, were you familiar with what that passcode was?
Yes.
Now, when you walk into the garage, how is it that you get from the garage to the house?
You walk into the garage and you walk up 3 steps and you go into a door.
And then once you sort of walk up the 3 steps and go into the door, what part of the house are you in when you enter?
You pretty much in the kitchen.
And you mentioned that Mr. O'Keefe was meticulous, if not OCD, when it came to the garage. How did that relate to how he kept the house?
The same. Everything was very tidy. When you walked in the door into the house, to the left, you put your shoes, your coats would be hung there.
And as far as shoes were concerned, is that something that you wore inside the house?
He'd rather you not.
And that was pretty well known to people that had been there before, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, with regard to the next video that's not contained on this Exhibit 5 from the same video, I would offer that at this time as the next exhibit.
And there was no objection, Mr. Jackson?
No objection.
Okay.
Where the heck is he going with this? So what if he was like things tidy? Big look.
And what was just up on the video, sir, it's just up on the screen as video number 148. That was what you had testified to previously as far as moving the cars.
Correct.
And why was that again?
So Karen could pull in the driveway, in the garage, excuse me.
So the expectation, from your understanding, is that Ms. Reed was coming back to the house at Meadows later on that evening.
Correct.
Now, as Mr. O'Keefe from that video on the screen there was walking to the car, did you happen to notice how he was dressed?
Yes.
And as far as what you observed in that video, what you recall from that evening, is that how he was dressed that evening?
Yes.
And when I say how he was dressed, for sort of the entirety of the time that you were with him?
Yes.
So it's January 28th. You recall, you indicated there was a snowstorm coming. It was cold out, is that correct?
Correct.
And with reference to that, was Mr. O'Keefe someone that would typically wear a coat?
No.
And ever? That you can recall?
Never that I could recall.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, with reference to that same Exhibit 6, if I could publish video number 149.
Okay.
And Ms. Gilman, for the second time, you can start. And yes, you can break down. So from that video, Ms. Cameron, What is it that you and Mr. O'Keefe are doing in that video?
We're heading down to McCarthy's.
Now, at some point after you arrived at C.F. McCarthy's, who, if anyone else, sort of joined your group?
Kurt,
And that'd be Kurt Roberts, is that
correct.
And how was it that he came to C.F. McCarthy's that night, if you know?
I texted him.
And in general terms, what did you call or what that text communication was like between yourself and Mr. Roberts?
Yes, he said he was busy. He was doing something that I texted him that he was a pussy.
And following that text, Mr. Roberts eventually arrived at C.F. McCarthy's.
He showed up, yes.
And about how long after you and Mr. O'Keefe arrived did Kurt show up?
I would like to say maybe an hour.
And if you know, when was it that at some point you indicated Ms. Reed appeared at C.F. McCarthy's as well?
Correct.
And do you know about how long after yourself and John arrived at Ms. Reed?
I don't.
Now, with reference to that establishment of C.F. McCarthy's, are you aware or have you become aware that there was a surveillance video from inside the bar that night?
Yes.
You've seen some of that footage, is that correct?
Yes.
You want to may approach?
Yes.
I want to introduce and admit the surveillance video from C.F. McCarthy's as the next exhibit.
And there's no objection, Mr. Jackson.
Is done. If I could ask you to play from about 7 minutes and 40 seconds, and we'll go through about 9 minutes. You could pause it just a second. Now, do you recognize what's up on the screen with the camera on?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
C.F. McCarthy's.
And yourself and Mr. O'Keefe are not in frame at this time, is that correct?
No.
If you could, using the laser pointer before you, if you could direct the jury's attention to where it was about in reference to the bar that you and Mr. O'Keefe eventually came to congregate that.
These seats here.
And from this video, from your time there that night or prior occasions, can you see sort of where the front door is to the establishment?
Yes.
Could you direct the jury's attention to where that is? And so what I'm going to ask in just a moment is for Ms. Gilman to press play, and then what I'd ask you to do is if you could just direct the jury's attention to when, if at all, you observe yourself and Mr. O'Keefe walking.
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if you could. Yeah, Ms. Gilman, if you could pause it right there. And just, I'm sorry, Ms. Cameron, you're directing with the laser pointer.
Sorry.
If you could just describe what you're directing to.
That is me. And that is John.
And thanks. Ms. Gilman, if you could just again play this through the 9 minutes. And you're off the record, we're at about 9 minutes and 41 seconds or so.
Okay.
So with reference to C.F. McCarthy, you went there, had some drinks, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall what you were drinking or what John was drinking that night?
Beer.
Is that sort of typical for the two of you?
Yes.
Do you recall sort of, was that from the tap, a bottle or something?
From the bottle.
And do you recall what type of beer typically you would drink or Mr. O'Keefe would drink?
Bud Light.
And do you recall specifically that's what you had that night or that's just what you typically had?
Typically, I think we had Bud Light.
What difference does it
And if you know possibly how many beers or how many drinks did you have over the course of your time at C.F. McCarthy's that night?
I don't.
As far as yourself versus Mr. O'Keefe, do you recall sort of in relation to each other, how much you each had to drink?
Not, maybe 6 beers.
And what I'm asking, sir, is it's not like, did one of you have 10 and one of you had 2, or was it sort of commensurate with each other?
Commensurate one for one.
So essentially you're buying rounds as you go along.
Correct.
From your time at C.F. McCarthy's, how would you describe sort of the tone or sort of the demeanor within the group that you were in that night?
Pretty good.
So no arguments, no fighting, anything like that?
No.
And just briefly going back to the clothing that you observed Mr. O'Keefe wearing in this and that you recall him wearing that night, what if any damage or tears or anything like that did you note in any of his clothing that night?
I did not see any.
Now, Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to take this down and go to the third video. And Ms. Gilman, if I could direct your attention to the 6 minute and 10 second mark through the 7 minute mark. And when you get 6:10, if you could just mark. Now, Ms. Cameron, directing your attention to the screen, if you could, from the parties that were within your group sort of that night at the bar, if you could just direct your attention to who is who or who, if anyone, you recognize in the video.
Kurt,
So in addition to yourself and Mr. O'Keefe, Mr. Roberts has now joined your group.
correct.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could just play some. If you could pause it, please. Now, with reference to Mr. Roberts, was he a beer drinker as well?
Yes,
From a bottle that night, same sort of thing that yourself and Mr. O'Keefe were having?
correct.
And from where it's paused at this point in the video, who's anyone else you recognize sort of coming into frame or coming to join your group?
Karen Reed?
And so from this, is this about the time that she entered the establishment or came into the bar?
Yes.
Now, with reference to Ms. Reed, what, if anything, do you recall her drinking during your time that you were both at C.F. McCarthy's that night?
She was drinking out of a glass.
And if you know, what if anything did you observe as far as the color of what was in the glass?
It was clear.
And beyond sort of the clear liquid in the glass, what, if anything else, did you observe in the glass as far as the straw, fruit, anything like that?
A straw, maybe.
And what, if anything, did you know what was in the glass?
I didn't.
As far as you could tell what was in the glass?
Vodka?
Is that something that Ms. Reed would typically drink if you had been out with her on prior occasions?
Yes.
Now, I'm sorry to keep
Wow.
coming back and forth between, but
Let's him
Ms. Gilman,
guess
if you could
what
just
was in
play
it.
again and let it run, excuse me, to the 7-minute mark.
Doesn't let Alan Jackson ask questions about policies and procedures, which are fact. Ridiculous.
Now, Ms. Gilman, from this same third video in this exhibit of the C.F. McCarthy's, if I could ask you to forward to the 14-minute mark, pause there. And if you could, I would ask that you play this from the 14-minute mark until about 14 minutes and 15 seconds, so just about 15 seconds. And Ms. Gilman, you can take that down for now. Ms. Cameron indicated that your son was at Booth Elementary School for a play of some sort, is that correct?
He was for a little bit.
And from there, where, if anywhere else, did he go then?
He went to a friend's house to skate in his backyard.
Skate as far as just skating, or what if anything else was he?
He was skating. That little party.
Well, let me ask you this. Was he a hockey player?
Yes, he's a hockey player.
Okay, so when you say skating,
Skating, yes. Makeshift hockey rink in somebody's backyard.
And at some point with relation to that, what, if anything, sort of caused you to leave C.F. McCarthy's on that night?
I received a phone call that my son was hit in the face with a hockey stick and he lost his tooth.
And so upon receiving that call, what did you do?
I went to go get him.
And do you recall about what time that was that you left C.F. McCarthy's to go get him?
I don't recall.
Now, from the group that you were with, as far as yourself, Mr. O'Keefe, Ms. Reed, and Mr. Roberts, who, if anyone, left first?
I believe Kurt.
And do you recall sort of how it was that Kurt left?
Kurt just got up and left.
So sort of an Irish goodbye?
Yeah, Irish goodbye, yes.
That's something he's known for?
Yes.
And about when was that in relation to when you left?
Not too soon after.
I'm sorry, not too soon after, or not too soon before?
I left after probably, I'd like to say 15 minutes after Kurt left.
Now, with the close permission, Your Honor, I'd just like to publish a small segment from this.
Okay.
So Ms. Gilman, if I could direct your attention to the fourth video. Fourth one down. And if I could ask you to forward it to about 19 minutes and 40 seconds. Pretty quickly. And Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to just pause it there for 1 second. Now, Ms. Cameron, from you're looking at this surveillance video here, or from your memory of that night, you see Mr. O'Keefe speaking to another gentleman, is that correct?
Yes.
You know who that person is?
Yes.
And who is that person?
Sully.
And do you know his first name or anything beyond just Sully?
Sully, I don't know his first name.
And how is it that you know him?
Kids play baseball with his son.
So in addition to your son playing baseball with Mr. O'Keefe's nephew, Mr. Roberts, does he have a son that's around the same age?
Correct.
And this individual, Sully, he has a child that plays baseball with the three of your kids?
Correct.
Is that someone that you had contacted to meet there, or he just happened to be?
He just happened to be there.
Ms. Gilman, if you could just play again and just went about the 20-minute mark. So. Now, Ms. Gilman, if you could move that forward again to 24 minutes and 10 seconds. And if you could just let this run until about 24 minutes and 20 seconds, so just about 10 seconds. And so, Ms. Cameron, did you see yourself in that portion of the video?
Yes.
And you know what you were doing at that time?
Leaving.
And so prior to leaving, had you sort of settled up a tab or something?
Yes, I picked up the tab.
And then you left and went to get your son, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Cameron, you can take that down, please. Now, Mr. Cameron, you left there and went to pick up your son, is that correct?
Yes.
And following picking up your son, where did you go from?
Back to John's house.
And why did you go back to John's house back?
My daughter was there picking her up.
You went to pick up your daughter?
Correct.
And you recall approximately what time that was?
11.
And when you came back to the residence at One Meadows, you parked in the driveway again?
Correct.
And did you physically sort of go in the house to pick up your son?
No, I did. No, I did not.
Now, as far as from the time that you left with Mr. O'Keefe to go to see McCarthy's versus the time that you came back, anything changed as far as position of Mr. O'Keefe's car?
No.
What, if anything, did you note as far as the garage doors were concerned, or any damage or anything like that?
Everything looked normal.
And, Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would seek to just publish another video or two from Exhibit 6.
Okay.
Now, from that video 152 that was just up on screen, sir, can you describe for the jury, just as sort of what was going on in that video?
I was picking up my daughter, Madeline, and my son, Michael, was with me. Yes, all three of us.
And where did you go from there?
Home.
And when you got home, well, let me ask you this first. During the time that you were at C.F. McCarthy's, you obviously, at some point, you didn't do an Irish goodbye?
No.
So at some point, you indicated to Mr. O'Keefe and or Ms. Reed that you were leaving to go pick up your son?
Yes.
And what, if any, indication did they give to you as far as where they were going, or what were their intentions for the rest of the evening?
They were heading either across the street or to the hillside.
And when you say across the street, what, if anything, was across the street?
What
there's
if
another bottom.
anything was across
The
the
waterfall?
Waterfall, yes.
Oh my God.
Familiar with that establishment as well?
Yes.
And where is that in relation to C.F. McCarthy?
Really?
Across the street to the left. If you were coming out of C.F. McCarthy's.
Walking distance, is that correct?
Correct.
And you leave, you get your son, you pick up your daughter at Mr. O'Keefe's house, and then you go home, correct?
Correct.
And when you get home, about how much longer were you up before you went to bed?
Wasn't up much longer.
And when you typically go to bed, what, if anything, did you do with your phone?
Put them on the charger.
Where's the charger located in reference?
In the kitchen.
And when following to the next day, about what time is it that you wake up on the 29th?
5:36 a.m.
And what was it that woke you up, if you know?
Phones ringing.
And how many phones do you have?
2.
And essentially one personal, one work, is that correct?
Correct.
Were both phones ringing or one of the other?
One phone at that time.
Was that your work? Or-
My personal phone.
And get up, you hear that, you look at your phone, what, if anything, do you see on the screen?
I see a lot of missed calls, a bunch of missed calls from Karen, and missed calls from my wife's work.
And when you say missed calls, we're talking about one call, several calls,
Several calls.
any voicemails that you recall associated with those calls?
I don't recall.
And so based on sort of making that observation of the missed calls, what do you do with that?
I pick up the phone and call my wife.
And what, if anything, did you learn from your wife about that?
My wife said to me that John.
Okay, sustained.
May we approach?
Okay.
So Mr. Cameron, you call your wife, and what, if anything, is it in general that she does?
She tells me that John didn't come home last night.
And she's still at work at this point, is that correct?
Correct.
Did she indicate to you how she came to find out?
She just she said she's received phone calls from
From
Karen.
From Karen. And based on that, you have a conversation with your wife about John's niece and nephew, is that right?
Yes, my wife says to me, go get Kaylee. Kaylee is home.
So at that time, your wife tells you that Kaylee's home in Meadows Ave by herself.
Yes.
And so based on that information, what is it that you do next?
I realize that Kaylee's home alone, so I throw some clothes on, go out to the car, clean the car off real quick, and get in the car and go.
When you say clean the car off real quick, what, if anything, did you have to clean off?
I clean the snow off the front windshield.
And again, you sort of drive over to John's house to get Kaylee.
Correct.
And when you get there, you pull in the driveway as well.
Yes.
And when you get to John's house and you pull in the driveway, what, if anything, did you observe about sort of the condition of the garage doors at that point?
When I pulled in, I could tell the garage door was open, left open.
Which one? The one to the right? Or
To the one to the right.
And do you go inside that door?
I do.
And what, if anything, did you do once you went inside?
Once I went inside, I saw Kaylee. I asked Kaylee get whatever she needed and to come and get in the car. While she was doing that, I started clearing some snow. I thought maybe snow hit the sensors so that the door couldn't go down.
And so you start clearing the snow with a shovel?
With the shovel that was in the garage, yes.
And after you had cleared some of the snow with the shovel, what did you do with regard to the doors at that point?
So I tried to put them down. They wouldn't go down. Then I asked Kaylee, I think, to re-enter the code to see if she could get the doors to go down, but the doors would not go down. The door.
And at some point, how did you get the?
So there's a red rope. I manually pulled that, shut the door, locked the doors. There's 2 side locks on the garage door, and I went out through the side garage door.
Now, when you arrived at the residence and you pulled into the driveway, do you recall how many vehicles were in the driveway when you got there?
Yes.
And how many?
2.
And whose vehicles?
John's and Karen's.
And John's vehicle, where was that in relation to the last time that you saw it when you picked up your daughter there?
Same spot.
And as far as defendant Ms. Reed's vehicle, where was that in relation to the garage or in relation to the driveway?
It was pulled in on the left side, all the way in.
So in the area of the garage door that you were just speaking
Correct.
about? And at that time, did you look at the vehicle or touch the vehicle?
No.
Fair to say that your focus was sort of on the garage door and the fact that it was open, correct?
Correct.
And why was that? Maybe self-evident, but why was your focus?
Because I figured John would go crazy when he came home and all the snow was in his garage.
Now, at any point in time when you initially got the call from your wife, did you yourself reach out to John at any point?
I did not.
You know, if I may, I would just seek to publish just a few more videos from Exhibit 6, the driveway ring.
Okay.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have from those first starting with video 155 and essentially it's going to go 155 to 158. If you could pause it. And Ms. Cameron, you recognize what's up on screen again?
Yes, my car.
This is sort of when you're pulling in to get killed.
Correct.
Using the laser pointer before you, again, if you could just direct the jury's attention to where you observed Ms. Reed's vehicle. And is that essentially from what you observed there, that's where it was the entirety of the time that you were there?
Yes.
So nobody else came to the home during the time that you were there to pick up Kaylee and shoveling out snow from the garage?
No.
Ms. Gilman, if you could just run. Ms. Gilman, next video 157. Lastly, Ms. Gilman, video 158. So, Mr. Cameron, what was just in those last 4 videos that were played before the jury? Is that essentially the process that you were describing as far as yourself and Kaylee trying to get the garage door down?
Correct.
And so you leave from there and go back to your house, is that correct?
Yes.
And where sort of you and Kaylee go once you get inside?
We go into the house. We're in the kitchen in my house, and my daughter. We get my daughter up.
And your daughter then sort of hangs out with Kaylee for a period of time?
Correct. They go downstairs and they're hanging out.
And at some point in time, how does Kaylee leave your house or where does she go from there?
I take Kaylee home.
And why is it that you take Kaylee home? What time is it, if you know?
I don't know what time. Paul had called me.
And by Paul, who do you mean?
Paul O'Keefe, John's brother.
And he informed you that John passed?
Yes.
So you took Kaylee to the house on Meadows Ave to be with the family, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson?
Thank you.
Mr. Cameron, just a few questions. You and your wife did spend a lot of time with John O'Keefe and Karen Lee as a couple, correct?
Decent amount, yes.
Would you consider John one of your best friends?
A good friend.
In fact, you were close enough that your children spent a lot of time with John O'Keefe and Karen Reed as a couple and their kids, correct?
Correct.
In fact, is it true that sometimes they would even vacation together with Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed?
Correct.
There was a trusting relationship that you had with both Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed to put your kids in their care.
Correct.
You mentioned this wonderful news about your kids, your daughter getting into this great school. I think it's called Bishop.
Bishop fan, yes.
Before the acceptance, there was actually a sort of a process, like an open house that you needed to take the kids to, correct?
Yes.
You took your daughter, right?
I don't recall.
You remember being at an open house and a tour of Bishop with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe and John's niece?
I do recall being in an auditorium. I do.
Yeah, big auditorium, big tour of the school.
Yes.
All kids getting in.
Yes.
Okay. To make sure it's the right fit for the kids.
Correct.
And Karen was there, sort of as a
She was.
matriarch for John's niece.
Yes.
Your daughter spent a lot of time just with Karen, Miss Reed,
Correct.
running errands, going to Miss Reed's house, having Miss Reed care for her,
Correct.
and you had no issues with that.
No.
Because you liked Karen. You
Correct.
liked Miss Reed.
Correct.
It was probably, did you say once a week that you would hang out with and socialize with Miss Reed and Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes.
So you got to know them not just individually, but as a couple together, correct?
Yes.
You saw them on most Friday nights, right?
Correct.
You never saw them argue or fight.
Argue.
Matter of fact, one time you were asked about this in front of a grand jury, and you said, I wouldn't even call it bickering. They would just banter together.
I guess so. Yes.
You never heard Mr. O'Keefe complain about Miss Reed or vice versa?
No, I did hear him complain about like when Karen would buy like very nice things for the kids, like he wouldn't like that, stuff like that, or take the kids to get their nails done or something like that.
So maybe spoiling.
Yes. Yes.
Certainly nothing to suggest that there was any abuse or anything like that. It was just a matter of fact.
Correct. Correct.
Mr. O'Keefe had an idea about how to raise children that was maybe a little bit more modest than Ms. Reed did.
Correct.
So you described earlier at another hearing, you described the situation in which Ms. Reed got a very expensive sweater for Mr. O'Keefe's niece.
Correct.
And Mr. O'Keefe's response was, well, I wish he hadn't done that. That's spoiling that little girl.
Yes.
You would agree there are worse things in the world than spoiling a child.
Correct.
I'll let it stand.
You never heard Mr. O'Keefe even hint at the idea of breaking up with Ms. Reed.
Not that I can recall.
I want to turn your attention to January 28th, if I could. We saw a video, and you explained what was happening in the video, where some cars were being jostled around. That was Mr. O'Keefe actually moving his car to facilitate Ms. Reed bringing her car over to his house to put it in the garage, correct?
Yes.
A chivalrous thing to do for your loved one.
Yes.
Didn't want her to be out in the snow if it was going to be a heavy snow, is that right?
Correct.
And the idea was that even that weekend, he intended that Ms. Reed would likely be with him and the family for the entirety of the weekend during that blizzard.
Correct.
So she got a nice warm place and a dry place to put her car.
Yes.
You saw a video that Mr. Lally played for you of the moment. There are several videos, but I want to direct your attention, your memory, to the video of when Ms. Reed actually made her way into McCarthy's.
Yes.
You had that scene in your mind?
Yes.
You saw in the video when Ms. Reed actually walked into the location how Ms. Reed and Mr. O'Keefe greeted each other.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Correct?
Yes.
It appeared that was quite an affectionate greeting. Did you agree?
Objection.
Do you agree with that?
Oh my God.
They kissed.
Stop with the objections.
Would you consider a kiss affectionate?
Yes.
They hug each other, correct?
I don't recall.
Mr. O'Keefe put his right arm out and Ms. Reed sort of nestled into his embrace.
Okay.
And that's when he kissed her?
Yes.
Okay. They seemed happy to see each other.
Yes.
You didn't observe while you were at CF McCarthy's with them, you didn't observe any arguing or bickering between the two of them?
No.
As a matter of fact, they were sort of the normal, affectionate, laughing, happy couple that you were used to seeing, correct?
Yes.
There didn't seem to be any tension between them at CF McCarthy's, is that right?
Not that I recall.
All right. I want to just ask a couple of more questions. During the span of time that you knew them to be together, would you describe their relationship as being normal and caring?
Objection.
I'll sustain that.
I want to just draw your attention to the month before Mr. O'Keefe's passing. Would you describe their relationship to be normal as far as you knew it to be?
Yes.
And on the day before Mr. O'Keefe's passing, would you describe their interactions to be normal and caring and affectionate?
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Anything, Mr. Lally?
No redirection.
All right, Mr. Camerano, thank you very much. You're all set, sir.
Okay. I am streaming tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing my first live on some psychology stuff, starting with authority and the Stanley Milgram experiment. So if you are interested, I hope that you will join me then. And we will continue this trial tomorrow. I'm I'm not sure if I'm going to wait until the Corey Richmond trial is over or not. I might just do during the day, and whoever can join can join. And I'll play it by ear though. We'll post it, so please keep an eye. Tomorrow we will start with his wife, so it would be Katie Camerano. And you guys have the great rest of your Sunday. And if you can join me tonight, I will see you then. Bye.